listening to the Gettin' Salty Experience podcast.
And we are back. I love Petey's new intro, bro.
You're damn
awesome.
right.
Damn Skippy.
Gets me pumped. Gets me going, man. Welcome back to the Gettin' Salty Experience podcast. This is the only podcast in the whole wide world that brings the Firehouse kitchen table to you. It also brings some of the most slashing, highly decorated, saltiest guys in the JOB you've ever seen. We got one here tonight, but we're not going to introduce him yet. Because first I got to introduce my buddy, my pal, the guy with the bushy mustache and right now, Louis Ruffy Rufrano. There he goes.
Shalom.
We
buddy.
also got Big Pete, producer Pete, Proby Pete, on his A game now. Pete, whatever you want to call him, the new Pete. Back, the intro, awesome. He's just pulling up, wants the correct spelling. He wants this. He's been taking no shit now. Don't mess with Pete. He'll put you right out of the show.
I quit drinking recently.
So, Pete, before we go any further, let's give the word of the day.
Oh, actually,
I went out of sequence, but you know what?
You want to do the word of the day?
Yeah, because I want to take a swig. That's why.
Ladies and gentlemen, the word of the day is Jameson.
Jameson! Whoa!
Look at his face. You got to tell that story, Gary.
I'm sitting here with these three idiots. That's what that face looks like.
Oh, my
So,
God.
Pete, give us a little shameless plug.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying.
What's the shameless plug?
As you all know, guys, because it's Christmas and my man Kev is sitting by the engraver right now. He's got one hand on the engraver, the other on the keyboard. You guys have all been going to and need to go to gettingsaltyapparel.com, where you can find shirts like this, the first due at your old lady's box t-shirt. And guys, soon to be first due at your old lady's burning bush for the wildfire guys. We're getting that one together. And of course, the hat that Ruffy Rufrano's wearing, all of our accessories, the 100 Halligans that poor Kev is engraving out there, and all that wonderful stuff is available to you. All the best firefighter apparel and gear is available to you at gettingsaltyapparel.com. Thank you guys for supporting.
Hey, don't forget the Leatherhead Nation shirt just came out, but Louis didn't put it on. If you really want it, make sure you email Louis and tell him to put it on the site, because we do have.
Don't email me. Don't email me.
All
Not
right,
a good idea.
Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our what words can I say here? Our
esteemed
saltiest,
guest,
esteemed Lieutenant Jerry Murtha. There he is. Beautiful.
I'm surprised LT can stand with all the fruit salad he's got. You know,
he's got a little fruit salad.
He's got some fruit salad. It's got a nice tree.
Yeah.
It's got good hair.
He's got good hair. He's got a nice tree behind him. He's very festive.
Yes.
Welcome to the show, Lieutenant Murtha. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers, brother. Welcome.
Look forward to it.
I'm looking over his timeline. I'm seeing the rack. I'm like, this guy is the real deal. If there was ever a real deal, it was a real deal. So let's dive right in. Let's do a little background on you first, Lieutenant Murtha. Where you from originally?
Well, I started out in the city. We moved out. My dad was a fireman. We moved out to Long Island and Farmingdale, New York. And my whole dream was to become a New York City fireman. And my dad was my idol, and it worked out. And
where did Dad work?
He started out in 135. My dad was in the Navy in World War II, 27 months in the South Pacific.
Wow.
Shit.
Yeah, then he joined the Marine Reserves and was off to Korea. But he didn't actually go. He was activated, and then they told him, listen, we'll give you another 6 months, and he didn't go. But that was the deal. You know, you become a fireman, you get the reserves, you get the 30 days off. And then my mother goes, enough, that's it. Yeah, we're done with the military. You know, so, but he was my idol, and that's what, and my dream came true, becoming a fireman, you know.
Wow. Were you a volley first out there in Farmingdale?
I was a volley when I was 18 years old, yeah, a couple of years. I enjoyed it, met a lot of nice guys, but the goal was always FDNY, and it worked out. I was on the NYPD for a while. I enjoyed that stay.
Oh, I don't see that in your timeline. Yeah, we left that.
I was started out there in 73,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I.
It does say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Actually, I started on White Plains PD because they hired at 20, and then as soon as I turned 21, I went on the NYPD, and then I got laid off.
How was that in 73?
I enjoyed it, but I was young. You know, when I was 20 years old, I got into TPF, the riot squad. Hats and bats. I'm like a young kid with all these old guys. We're getting off the bus. Let's go.
So it wasn't like nowadays when the guy's like an inch from you yelling at your face for like 20 minutes and you have to take it.
And I'll tell you what, I liked it better the old way because you could control these situations. Now it's a joke with what the cops got to think.
All you got to do is say, stop resisting as you're beating them, right? Stop resisting!
I'll tell you what, you showed up with 100 guys getting off buses and then you just cleared the street. And believe me, you did clear. The precinct cops really didn't like you too much because you went in there and locked everybody up and then you were gone.
Right. Then they have to take care of it.
And then they had to deal with it.
Right.
Back in the day.
That's why you gravitated towards SOC. Go to the fire and then you're gone.
What's those 17 lengths of hose? All right,
got another job coming in. Guys, see you later, guys.
We got something else.
So it says you also went Montgomery County FD.
Well, I got laid off from the PD in July 1st, 1975.
Why were they laying people off?
They laid off 5,000 cops and I think 2,000 firemen.
Budget cuts?
Yeah, the city was broke. Mayor Bean was the mayor, and so my dad, who went to the, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. The union told him, the FDNY union said they're giving a test down there, So I went down. I actually went down with Richie Torello and Skip Schumeyer, who we all became city firemen. But we went down there and we got on the job down there, and I stayed there till I got called for the FDNY, and it worked out.
That was in '77. You got called, right? It was rocking and rolling in '77, and you went to from 1277. You went to lot of 175, East New York Truck Company.
Yeah, it was a single truck back then. It was a lot of senior guys.
Is that before they moved in? They were on a different street. They were on
New Jersey Avenue.
I have pictures of that. We're gonna do we do a little segment where we go to old buildings that used to be firehouses.
Right,
but not forgotten. Yeah. So I had the pictures of 175 as a single truck over there. That's a great.
That was a lot of good guys came through there. Chief Donald Burns was there. Larry Stack. I was a fireman with Larry Stack there. Tommy Kavekis was there. And just a lot of good guys. They were there in the 60s when Brownsville and East New York were really late 60s, but really burning in the early 70s and into the 80s. But all of these guys had tons of experience, so you just learned from them, and they were more than willing to show it. And Larry Stack, he was I remember the night we had the Telemundo collapse where Chief Telemundo was killed, and I had the can, he had the irons. That was actually how I really got interested in going to rescue, because we showed up at the collapse, and I saw what a job the Rescue 2 did. It was the first time I saw the airbags deployed, tunneling in. And, Chief Telemundo passed away, but there was a lot of firemen trapped there, like 5. It was a row frame. There was somebody, actually, there was somebody in the building, a squatter. And I said, wow, those guys really, they impressed me, as a young guy. And I had the pleasure to work with so many great guys, going through the job, which we all did, You just learn from the best,
Were they Attila back then too?
Yes. Yeah,
so,
it was good. I liked Attila.
What year did they move out of that firehouse and move in with the engine?
Hold on. Yeah, I think it was, I think they moved out of there in 84, I want to say, or
so you were gone already, or you were still there?
I was on an onion skin to Rescue 3 when they moved in with 332.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
how long were you there before you caught your first job? Not long, I bet.
2 hours.
No, not at all. We did actually when we went to the Chief Telemundo fire. We were on R&R. We would have been there sooner, but we had another job already. But that's just the way it was back then. Everybody, the interchange is going on, and it was different, And it was very, when you're a young person, when you're doing all these runs, I always said to people, you did a lot of U-turns, 1092s, but you loved it. You did 20, 30 runs. It would be hard to go to a slow house and be older and then go there. You'd say, oh, this isn't for me. But when you're young, you love that stuff.
No doubt about it.
And the older guys were used to it, so.
Right. LT, I got a little bit of an outside the box question. And don't ring the bell, Kev. Hold on.
I will ring the bell if this is a bad question. I don't have it.
No. Given the like conditions, right? in that era, that time, the budget cuts, the way the city was going, do you see, or can you foresee a time for New York coming back that is similar to that era that other firefighters might have to deal with in the upcoming times? I mean, considering we're really in a lot of, people are leaving the city. There's no money. The taxes are going up, and there's no money. We're in a hole right now, $7-8 billion in the hole or more. I mean, what were the conditions that set the stage for that? And do you think that could happen again? And you lived through it.
I think it could happen again. I think that New York City and New York State are in great financial problems. Their tax base is leaving, and unfortunately, they just talking about raising taxes again. And so many of my friends have just left New York City, left Long Island in the last 2 months. I can't believe it. So I could see it going down that road again. Could there be layoffs again? Yeah, I think there could be. They said 75. It'll never happen. Never happen. Never happen. I remember the PBA president telling us, "You're not going to get laid off, kid." The next day, I was handing him my gun and shield, and I'm like, "Oh my god, my wife was pregnant." Yeah, no, it could happen. I'm worried about it. I love New York, I really do, but I just want to see it come back. It needs a lot of changes politically, and people that we all love New Yorkers. New York's the best.
So I know we're not at that stage of the night yet, but for the firefighters that may see something like this coming, right? For the brothers who are listening, the younger guys who are on right now, what does that look like for them? What do they do? Just keep working and keep training and be ready? Is that what you would tell them?
What else can you do? You got to stay upbeat. You got to stay positive. Hopefully the layoffs will never happen again. I would hate to see that. Maybe the city will close. Hopefully they.
There was talk of it. I know guys were talking about it. I spoke to a few guys. They had some numbers of guys that they were looking to do at the end of the year, but I don't think that's.
I think happening. It has to play out. Like if the stimulus bill bails out the cities, and then everything will be kind of all right for a while. If they don't, there's going to be hard financial cuts. There's no doubt about it. But let's stick to them. Yeah, you still got to stay positive. You know what? I got laid off, and I just hit the ground running. And all my experiences while I was laid off were good, but I didn't want to get laid off, believe me. But these things happen in life, My wife was pregnant at the time. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But it all worked out,
Jerry, who was the guy when you first got to 175 that you really gravitated to? Was it somebody that you really followed, or was it just a bunch of senior guys at the time?
No, there was a couple of guys. Larry Stack was one of them. This guy, Tom Potter, Jack Foley. These guys were great guys. They were everybody just about is going to show you stuff. But so if you show the interest, we all know that. There's guys in every firehouse that will want to show you more.
Right.
You always got to be willing to listen. Because I didn't want guys to think, "Oh, I was a fireman down in Montgomery County." We didn't do the fire duty down there, so I didn't want them to say, "Oh, he already knows." I didn't know. I wanted to learn, and New York City firefighting is very aggressive and very different. The buildings are different. Old lieutenant, most places don't have that. I mean, inner cities do, but you go outside that. I remember going to different boroughs. You had to, you'd work overtime in Manhattan. You'd be like, I'm a fish out of water.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Brooklyn, I was really good with row frames. PDs, and even the Bronx. When I went to the Bronx, it was different buildings. So you got to keep always thinking and learning and keep asking questions. One of the things I got to tell you is when I got promoted in '90 and went back to rescue in '95, a lot had transpired because when I was in rescue as a fireman, we were part of the 13th Battalion.
Right.
Now there was SOC, and then there was all kinds of confined space, ropes, all that stuff was new to me. So I was a lieutenant. I was at the mercy of guys, firemen. Some bosses couldn't get used to that. But that's the best thing to do is learn from them. If you don't know it, say
it is tough to come right. It's worse to come in and try and act like you know it if you don't know.
And they know you're fine.
And they know right away, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
So.
Even for myself, when I came back from 103, there was so many new techniques and things from when I was in SOC originally, and unfortunately, I kept doing the same thing. I kept trying to stay with my own way, but you can't do that either. You know what I mean?
I know. Hey, look how the job changes. Truck companies. I remember in 175, if you wore a mask, everybody's looking to see who the first guy put a mask on. And I used to drive home. We went to an auto body, shot fire. We were breathing smoke for an hour.
Coughing shit up.
And my lungs were hurt. I'm saying, what is so stupid?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I look back now. It was like, you know.
It's especially in some of those, well, again.
And the guy that would cough, they'd go, oh, look at him, he coughed. It's a baby.
Well, it's true because you're trying to, in some strange, I mean, now people on the job, right, that, you know, everything's cancer, everything's this, everything. But back then, it was nothing like that. So, you know, everybody's always trying to show what they can do as far as how far you can go, you know, what smoke you can take, you know, how fast is your face piece on or off, right?
Right.
So it's, and that's the truth. And, you know, I do the same thing. I think back now, I look back, I'm like, you know, that's ridiculous. You should, you know, and then as time went on, before I got out, if I wanted to keep my face piece on, I would keep it on as long as I wanted. You know what I mean? It didn't, it was different times, right? It was different times.
The last thing you wanted to be called, like, you know, guys that didn't wear a mask and the guys that go flying through, you know, you didn't want to be the human door shock in the hallway. You know what I mean? Oh, they're in there, you know, especially if you're a boss. And I seen that happen where the boss finally, he knew, I better wear my mask. You know what I mean? The fireman going in there. Right. Yeah. So, you know, it's all part of, you know, your whole experience on the fire department. You guys seen changes now, you know, we all seen them, you know, even the bunker gear thing was a big change. So, but,
we neglected to ask, Ruffy, how did he get to 175 right out of probie school?
Oh, you know what? That's, you know, it wasn't like he went to, you know, City Island. How did he get over there?
Actually, my dad asked me, where do you want to go? You know, he was working downtown and he was a fire marshal. So he goes, you know, he gave me these companies, you know, and I said, Dad, you pick the one, you know. And when he started out in 135, they used to get detailed to it was called 107 then. And there was a pickle factory next door, and the guys were very comfortable there. He goes, that Firehouse was always fun when I went to, and they're busy and this and that. I go, all right, Dad, you know. So that's how I wound up in 175, you know. He knew somebody down there.
That's a primo, even now, it's a primo place. Yeah. They still do great work, but they don't
do a lot of running over there, man. No, they do a lot of work.
They got a big response area, which helps, you know.
No elevators, you know. Well, they're on Bradford Street now. Yeah,
not too many projects. Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay, now the bigger question.
I knew this was coming. I knew it.
What is it?
Why'd you go to 3 and not 2?
Bingo! Ruffy knows me.
Well, I had a lot of respect for Rescue 2, believe me. Great, you know, Downey, all those guys. Actually, my lieutenant, McTighe, was from there. But anyway, the real reason I was thinking about going there, I talked to Howie Carlson, because Howie Carlson was a fireman in 175. He went to Rescue 4. So, you know, I was, you know, you got to, you know, it's like coming out of the closet. You know, you don't want to tell everybody you're thinking of going to rescue. You know what I mean? Like, you know. So anyway, I told one of the guys in the band, Tommy McTeague, I said, yeah, you know, how's Rescue 3? You know, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's great, kid. Come on up here, you know. So I went up and I talked to the Captain Ryan and in person. He said, call me every once in a while. You know, the usual thing. So I call him once a month and then 2 months, 3 months. So finally, I said, maybe this guy doesn't want me. So Lieutenant Spohr was retiring from Rescue 3. So the band was having they were having a retirement party for him. So they asked the band to go up and play for him. So this was Joe Spohr's father, who we lost on 9/11. But anyway, so I go up there and so McTeague goes to me, hey, what's the story? You know, I go, I haven't heard from the captain. And so he gets Captain Ryan, he pulls him over, he puts him in a headlock, squeezes as hard as he can. He says, got him. What are you bringing Mercer over the tree? You know, so he's got him in the headlock. And I go, what are you doing? I was like, I'll never go there now, right? So, and in 175, they were having their 25-year reunion. So I was running it, so it was like an awkward time. So the captain goes, calls me the next day. He goes, I want you to come up next week, you know, blah, 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 and, you know, I'll take care of it. I said, can I wait another week? I got this party. You know, he goes, it's now or never. It's like, all right, you know. So I McTeague threw him in the headlock, and it worked.
All it was a headlock. Look at that. Look at that.
So it was none of this.
If anybody thinks that it's like great firemen that God is going to come down and say, oh, I want you for Rescue 3, you know, it doesn't happen. You know, like there's got to be people that, you know, are going to vouch for you or maybe put your captain in a headlock or whatever. But nobody's going to come to you with a fire and say, hey, you did a great job. Come with me. That doesn't work, you know?
I know who else put a word in for you, I think. I think Lieutenant Jameson's put a word in for you.
Hey, there you go.
No water. Don't put any water in it.
Don't put no water in the Jamesons, right?
That's right. That's what my mother always said. I'll kill you. Don't do that.
Jerry was telling us that story in the pre-show, and he was just like, my mother, yeah, we were talking about, and that's why we picked the word, because he was telling that story out of the blue.
I'll tell you the story real quick. When we went out to a Notre Dame football game, and I had my son and my nephew Ryan and my mother, and I brought a small bottle of Jameson's. We're in the motel room before the game. I get the ice, 2 glasses, put the Jameson in, and I go to put water in. My mother goes, "No, what are you doing? Don't ruin my Jameson." I go, "Oh, Mom." You know, she was like 75 then, and whatever. It was funny as hell, you know. But
That is so freaking funny, man. You know, I was never a Jameson guy. I'd like somebody actually just posted it, but I used to like Tell 'em I Do a little bit better. I thought it was
every man must have his due.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey!
I like it.
Hey, Ruffy, what's the scotch that the guy sent us from the show?
Which one?
I don't know, the one you brought to my house that somebody from the show sent you.
I don't remember which one that was.
About something with an M.
McMillan.
Whatever it is, I don't know. I've been drinking it while we're watching the show, while I'm doing the show, right? So, the other day, I go into the liquor store just to pick something up for a party, and I see it up on the shelf. It's a $379 bottle of scotch.
No!
Whoa!
You know, that was supposed to be for everybody. You know, when we came, you know what I mean?
I'm in my 19 also tried a little of this. Now I'd be like, don't touch that.
That is crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's like that Pappy Van Winkle, man. You know?
Happy Van Winkle. So how long did it take you to get used to, you know, running like a madman in Brooklyn to going up to the Gentleman's Borough in the Bronx?
It was a new adventure, you know. Bunch of good guys. The younger guys at that time, I mentioned earlier, was the picture there is Gene Shearer. He was a great guy, Navy SEAL, Vietnam. But I went with a bunch of young guys. It was John Salker was there, John Norman was there.
Never heard of him.
Jay Jonas. We were all firemen together. And,
Are you kidding me?
and we had all of these old guys. Some of them were, you know, World War II veterans. I'll mention one, Pop Hannon. Pop Hannon was on the job, World War II vet. He was on the Indianapolis, fished out of the water. They dropped the bomb.
Wow.
And he was there. And everybody told me that guy's not going to talk to you for a year. And I said, all right. So I just started talking to him. I told him my dad was a CB in the South Pacific, 27 months. And like 2 weeks later, the guy's like my best friend.
Yeah,
he wouldn't talk to anybody.
Yeah,
But you know, you find common ground. But he went to a taxpayer. He went to a roof for the taxpayer. It was a supermarket, and he was getting burned bad. I remember Lieutenant Mike Currid and Connie Tinney, who was a fireman in 3, went in and got him out. He was burnt bad. He was down at the burn center. This guy was a rigger. He was like the real deal rescue guy. You know, worked construction full time and fire department full time. So anyway, his burns healed unbelievable. They couldn't figure out why. So they asked him to fill out his diet. And if you looked at his Jeep, he had cable and empty Guinness cans everywhere. So his diet was heavy-duty Guinness. And they said it was because of the iron in the Guinness. You ever see that black beer?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was like a big cure for these burns. That's a true story.
Holy shit, that's freaking great.
But I got to get to the tail end of those guys, which was phenomenal, you know?
Yeah. What about the guy here? What are you telling us about this guy right here?
Yeah, he had a special skill.
Gene was a guy you wouldn't want to go out drinking with him because Gene was in 17-2. He got laid off, and then he went to 44 and where else? But anyway, he came to rescue.
He didn't see any fire, is what you're saying.
He was the real deal. He was in Vietnam in the bad years. He was a Navy SEAL. But when he drank, he had a thing about eating light bulbs. So you wouldn't want to go out drinking with him too many times because it always ended that way. So he would actually.
So how would it be? Would he just take the light bulb out of the fixture?
He would crack it. He would crack it on the table and start eating the glass and chewing it.
Come on. Oh,
True
my
story.
God, that's crazy.
I always said, you know, when you hit Gene, go to the bathroom. You might hear him screaming, bro. This could be a number 2.
That's definitely beating the jalapenos. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
Yeah.
But Gene was a phenomenal fireman, a great person. A little bit like an Indian when he drank, like we all are. But he was the real deal. He took me under his wing and he taught me a lot, you know. He was a good man. He just passed away. He was a great guy.
Sorry
it's
to
too
hear it.
bad.
Yeah.
There's the gene. There's the Jameson's the gene.
Yeah, Jameson. He would like that.
Jameson.
And actually, he drank Jameson.
No water.
No water.
Yeah, no water. No water.
I like that your mom told you that. You know what I mean? Like usually,
God bless my mom.
I get the opposite after a Thursday show or a Monday show. I get the call from my mother. I watched the show last night. Too much tipping of the elbow. Too much tipping of the elbow and too much cursing.
I think we all learned a little bit about drinking too much on the show when we went on that one remote that one time.
We'll not talk about that.
It happens.
Yeah, man. So you got any good stories, fire stories from setting from 175 or archery? What do you want to? The guys are just sitting on there waiting for some good fire stories. What do you got?
I had probably the biggest scare I ever had with the fire department was we had a job down at Hunts Point, and we got down there. It was a 42 truck was there. They were having problems with the water, no fire, people trapped. It was a 6-story building. The heavy fire on the 5th floor, and they were giving Maydays, and so I remember me and Lieutenant Corcoran, we made the dash up the stairs. They were on the top floor of the Maydays, and we got up there, and we got separated. But I remember going into the apartment. I could hear commotion in the back, and the ceiling came down on me. So when the ceiling came down, it was fire to the floor. But you know how it comes down and then goes up? So it was like I had about 3 feet that everything was burning. I jumped into the bathroom, and remember they gave us those rescue ropes, so I'm tying it around the bowl. I gave a Mayday, but there was other Maydays going on. The guys in 42 truck were trapped on the other side, and the captain jumped into the bucket. And they were like on the 5th floor. He jumped into the bucket. He broke his femur and his hip, and there was another fireman that got hurt. And so now I'm like, should I go out the bathroom window? I got it cleared. I could fit. It was tough, but I made one quick move, and I was able to get out of there. But that was the biggest scare I ever had in the fire.
You had the small window there, or
the small window, yeah. But I was going to get out of it. If I had to go
I hear you.
There was no fire escape. I was in the rear. Nobody was going to get me. I knew that. And but I was able to get out. And then, I mean, it was lucky nobody was killed there. I mean, there was a baby killed, but I mean, I'm talking about firefighters.
Yeah.
But here's a story now. One of the guys that gave the Mayday up there. This was going back 1989, I would say. I went to a retirement party. You guys might have been at it. It was for Jerry O'Shea and Kevin Keatley and all those guys out of Brooklyn. Not that many years ago. But a guy came up to me and he said, I remember there was a guy coming down the stairs. I go, you the guy that gave the Mayday? And he said, no. And then I went up. And then he came up to me. He said, I always wanted to tell you that was me. I felt terrible about that. That's how many years had passed.
Oh, my God.
And I admire the guy. I mean, for whatever reason, guys get lost. Some guys, nothing to be ashamed of. I'm telling you.
No. But But
it was
funny
weird.
how he
It was
still
so
held
weird
that on his head.
that happened, yeah.
There's a few things that everybody has that they still think they could have done different things. You know what I mean? However it worked out.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Another good job was we had a fire up in the North Bronx. It was a commercial establishment. Anyway, a fireman went through the roof. His name was Gus. Whatever. What happened was they had an old skylight. They put a piece of paneling over it, and they tarred over that. So he went up a little bit and went through like a trap door. So I remember Chief Fellini had the fire, and they gave Maydays. Guys up on the roof went through the roof. This thing was going pretty good, and I'll never forget. Bobby Milmore had the roof, and he said he went through. I said, where? He gave me great. He said, suppose at fourth side, midway, about 20 feet in. Years ago, like you might have just ran in, but we had an idea where we were going. And I remember Firefighter Styles found the firefighter, and the three of us, Pete Romeo was another guy, and myself. We took him out. But Brian got to him first, and the nicest thing about that was, I mean, everybody was really happy because Fellini was relieved. He thought he was going to lose the fight. He came back to quarters. Carruthers came. But the nicest part, the fireman came back after we got out of the burn center.
No shit.
And thanked Brian and myself and Pete Romeo. It was really nice.
I would do the same shit.
It made you feel good, you know.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hoppy just told me that story that you just said, almost word for word. The only thing that he said also was that they came back and the chief said he wanted to write Brian up, and he said he didn't want to get rid of it.
Yeah, he kept playing it down, and you know what? I said, listen, shut up, Brian. I said, I'll do the talking. You know?
Hoppy said the same thing.
And we got it. And actually, Tom Foley was working in Rescue 3 that night, and that's when I remember he said, I want to go to Rescue 3, you know. It's all right, you know. Then he came over eventually, you know. Right. But it was great.
He was a probie in 41, right, Tommy Foley?
Yeah, Captain Tiso got the pick of who he wanted out of probie school, and he picked Aldo. Luisi. Yeah, Aldo's good. He grew up across the street from me, Aldo, and Foley, and I think it was a couple other guys. But hey, they were all turned out to be great guys, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So did you work with Garrett?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Garrett. Yeah, Garrett was in 33. I was Lieutenant 59, so I ran in with Garrett, you know, all the time. And then he came to to Rescue 3. Garrett's a good man. Very knowledgeable. You know, I learned stuff about Garrett on your show that I never knew. I never even knew his father was on the job.
His old man, right?
Yeah, and his father had a great history. Stuff. I mean, I love listening to it, you know. I was like, why didn't you ever tell me that, you know? But it was great. Wow, That's Jerry Schrang was from 33. Yeah, we had a lot of guys, you know.
Yeah.
That's a pretty but most guys do that, Jerry, right? They always a little bit, humble. They don't really that's why when I call the guys to come on the show, I'm like, all right, listen, this is not the Firehouse. You can't just say, I ran up, grabbed the baby, came down. We want to know a little bit more detail, like what happened, because when you're in the Firehouse, you never tell those things really. No. It's always.
Well, when you first asked me to come on, I was like, I got to check this out, and I think it was September. So then I saw it and it was good. It just shows you, guys talking about their knowledge, and maybe somebody's listening and learn something. Or making them laugh, whatever.
It's all of the above, I think. To be honest,
I actually reached out to Bobby Milmore, and he doesn't want to come on. So I'm going to make it your mission, Lou, to try to get Bobby to come on.
Bobby Milmore's
a funny guy, man. Very funny when I remember him.
Yeah, he's a good fireman. He's right there.
And he was a military guy too. I'm trying to get a guy from the military.
Oh, What about Happy?
Happy don't want to come on.
He's still on the job.
He's still on the job. Yeah, I'll get him.
Give me a Happy story. What do you got for Happy? Happy's that straight on the money guy, but I know he's
Happy's a great guy. Happy went through a tough divorce, and he's a great, as you know, Kevin. And you both know he's a great guy. So my sister, her girlfriend Mary, went through a tough divorce, So we said, hey, let's go jogging together, So we go jogging, and I think we're Firehouse. We did like an 8-mile run there, and they just started. They just talked and talked and talked.
No shit.
So yeah. So then they go, when are we gonna go running again, Happy?
Bring Mary.
They were like in 10th grade. It was great. Oh, Mary's the best. But anyway, they wound up getting married, and
come on, that's freaking awesome.
And it was a great story, yeah. And you know what? They were a great couple. They were.
They really are. Yep.
I love that guy. He was
a tough military. He was a PJ, right?
He was a tough guy in high school too. He was like a championship wrestler. Yeah. He's one of them guys you see on TV. The martial art guys.
Yeah. You don't want to. Well, he's quiet too. So that's how I know him. You probably know him.
He is quiet. No, he was always on the quiet side, but he's a great athlete. He's a great. He stays in shape. He's just a good guy.
Yeah, he really is the best. I love him. He's always asking about.
Crispy Creamy, probably listening. Crispy Creamy Donuts is his.
Oh, he likes the Crispy Cream.
Well, that's his.
That's everyone's downfall.
If you're listening, John Hopkins, I know you are. Crispy Creamies.
That is everybody's downfall. That's like crack.
His dad was a fireman in Rescue 2 for a long time.
Yeah.
And then he was in Hazmat. And he was also in the band, his father.
Yeah. He was assigned to 214, the Nut House at a probie school.
Yes, 214. And that's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say one thing.
What's that, buddy?
Mike Milner is in the house.
It's
a Flight 50/50 reunion, ladies and gentlemen.
So why don't we segue right into the 50/50?
Yeah, the one that Mike Milner took all the credit for. I think he was practicing his opera. Me. It was me.
Look at Jerry's face. He's like, son of a...
Hot off the presses, I just want to give a shout out to Joe Sperber, who sent this photo last minute, literally before the show. You know,
You
so
was there 50-50.
There you
So,
go.
so
Tell us
Jerry,
about that one, Luke.
yeah, give us a little
and I have that video to show. Don't forget that, guys. After
Yes.
this.
All right. Well, we were at a job in Harlem that night, and fortunately, we were right by the Triborough Bridge. We took up, and we actually got over there with Rescue 4. They held us off the runway till they cleared the runway, so we pretty much got there all together. And when we got there, we arrived. There was a lot of people on the wings in the water. They came out of the plane. They were waiting to get picked up. So I said, let me try to get into the rear section of the plane, because I saw the door was open slightly, and there was about a foot of water going in. As you can see here, it sank pretty bad, but that happened at the end.
So
anyway,
hold on 1 second. Not to interrupt. Is the plane floating right now, or is it on the ground, or like is it?
Well, eventually, after the rescues, they got flotation devices to keep it up.
So the thing is, it's floating here. It's not like grounded, like just off the runway or anything, right? It's not touching the bottom.
No, it would have sank. It could have sank though, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I didn't know that 100%.
But anyway, so I saw a lot of guys going for the people on the wings of the plane. So I went into the rear, and as you could see, it was bent like a pipe, So you actually couldn't, from the rear section, you couldn't see up into the main fuselage. So when I got up there, I started crawling up the middle aisle, and it was like an accordion. All the seats were pushed up, way up. And anybody in here? And sure enough, Mrs. Cruz answered, I'm here. And she had 2 people that were deceased right in front of her. What really made her that rescue was she was the real hero, because she was calm as anything. If you ever had a patient that was calm, it's great. And it was a long operation, because we had to extend the towel ladder over with the power unit of the Hearst tool. Get the old cutters into it was a big operation. Quick, when I got on the radio, Chris Blackwell came. He helped me a lot, and Mike Milner came. Lieutenant Williams, Tommy Williams, who died in the line of duty, he was at the rear door in a boat, a Zodiac. So he was keeping everybody out too. You know how it is. Everybody wants to, and the weight, the plane was sinking. By the time we finally got out of there, the rear door only had about 2 foot of water left when we got her out.
Oh shit!
And that rescue would have been aborted if it wasn't for Tommy Williams, because they kept saying it's going to sink. Get him out of there. 5 minutes. And it turned out to be like 20 minutes by the time we finally freed her. And I'll never forget.
She was absolutely going under the water. Yeah.
There's no doubt. So anyway, we got everybody out. I remember there was another agency there with a Zodiac. They wanted to grab it, and we just held her there. We waited for our guys to come out. We got her in that boat, and they took her away. And it was a good
real deal, man.
It was a great operation. It wasn't me. It was everybody. I mean, if it wasn't for Tommy Williams, it wouldn't happen. If they extended, Pete Long was my lieutenant that night. He was extended over the runway, over the water, directing operations. He had the power unit there running. It was just a great operation all the way around. I mean, there was other rescues there. The guys in the water. There was, it was September. The water wasn't cold, so that wasn't a problem. But it was just a good operation. But it was a good operation by the FDNY. I mean, there was a lot of units there, and everybody contributed. It was. So,
Petey, run that video, Petey.
Yeah, let's tee this up. This is from Brothers in Battle, right? And this is the speech that the lady gave, and your clip in there receiving the medal, right? That's what we're looking at, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, 10-4.
May I ask that Mrs. Cruz join us up here as Lieutenant Gerard MURTHA receives the first of his awards today. It is my honor, sir.
I am honored and pleased to be able to be here with Jerry to present him with my award, for he is my hero. award says, presented to Jerry MURTHA, my hero. Everlasting thanks for your bravery and heroism in rescuing me from Flight 5050. Because of you, I am alive today.
Medal Day, it's just a great day. It's a day that we reflect on what a lot of firefighters have done throughout the year. I'm just one of the lucky guys that are getting recognition, but there's 10,000 other guys that deserve the pat on the back like everybody else does.
Our next.
Well done.
That was awesome. LT.
Jerry, you still keep in touch with her? You said you kept in touch with her for a while?
Yes, I didn't know she was going to be there, which was really nice. And then she since passed away, but her son was a Marine drill instructor, and he stayed in touch too. You know,
That's great.
She was unbelievable. That person, you know.
Yeah, that's
I
good
think
stuff.
we fast forward a little. So I don't know exactly where it found, but you were at the Happy Land fire too, right? Where were
Yes.
you were working where? In 3 at the time?
Yeah, I was a fireman at 3. You know, we got there. It was one of them deals where nobody was going anywhere because the fire was coming out the front door. So you know, everybody basically standing outside till they knocked the fire down, and then you know, I made it inside. I remember I found some people by the bar there. I gave a report. There was somebody coming up behind me. But I was able to get up the stairs, and I remember telling the chief, I said, I got numerous 1075s, and I felt like I was on top of pillows. There was just so many people there, you know. And he kept saying, be more specific. How many you got? I just said numerous. You know, I had no idea, you know. And it turned out there was a few 80. It was a lot of people there, and you know, it was just like timing. You know what I mean? Like everything's timing in life. You know, they knocked the fire down. I got in there. And they were all dead. There was nothing you could do. You know, everybody died. And then I remember another company breached the exposure foresight, I believe it was. They came through the wall. You know, and then we just took people out. Nobody was alive. It was very sad. Okay.
Yeah, I think Paulie Soman had the
Paulie Soman had the nozzle.
Right?
Yeah, 45.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, basically, if you know, as a fireman goes, it was really
not much.
Fire.
Right.
I mean, you know, once you got water on it, it went out. It was a horrible thing, and you know, a part of history in New York. You know, it's funny. I just got a call from the New York Times, and this lady's doing a book on it or something, and she wanted to know because I gave some court testimony, and you know, she's called it the forgotten fire. Like it doesn't get much recognition, and it kind of did get lost in the shuffle. You know, like. With the amount of people that died.
If anyone wants a recap on it, they could watch our episode 4 of what was it? Back in the day, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Episode 4, man. So yeah, because we went into full detail on that, which was brutal.
Yeah, we had the layout, but like you said, Jerry, it was a nothing fire, and you know, the people just couldn't get out. There was not enough exits, obviously.
No way to get out.
Yeah,
no way to get out. Horrible.
Wow. Like that job
in there. That's what it did.
I don't remember where that job was. That horrible video they had. I think it was Connecticut or somewhere up north. That where the rock band was on the stage and they had some pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
And then it caught on fire and the people were stacked up in. If you didn't move to the exit, you know, the band ran out the back and the people.
It might have been Rhode Island.
Maybe. Oh, maybe it was Rhode Island. I know it was up north. Yeah. It was just they were stacked up, and you couldn't get out. It was.
What were they called? White something, right? Like.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Because that was the event. That way I can pull it up.
But that's what those things are. If you're not paying, you know, if you're just sitting around, it's.
Somebody wrote Great White is what it was.
Oh yeah, Great White. Yeah, that was a crazy video to watch that video.
So you get promoted out of 3, Lou?
Yes.
Right, you get promoted out of 3 in 1990. 1990, and you started bouncing right away. You got a spot.
No. You know what happened? They asked me if I would go to Rock for a year, and you know, I said, "Oh, all right." I taught 2 Proby classes in 1990. I had a lot of stars there. I had Liam Flaherty was there, and a lot of guys from the band. Kevin O'Hara, good guys. Yeah, I recruited them for the band at the time I was with Cameron. Yeah, we had like big class. Bruce Walsh, a lot of guys. But anyway, I enjoyed it. But they asked us, Jimmy Curran, Connie Tinney, John O'Connell, George Crucia. They asked us to start a collapse training. So we put it together, and then it was weird because when you're a fireman, I'm still thinking fireman. I just got promoted, right after the plane crash. So now I'm teaching. They had all the staff chiefs, the deputies, battalions, and I'm giving them an all-day class. Like I was like, I don't know if I can handle this one. You know what I mean? But after a while, it's like anything else. You keep doing
to get used to it. Yeah.
And the guys that were there, I don't know if you guys knew Connie Tinney. He was a phenomenal fireman. He came out of 28 truck and then Rescue 3. But just a pleasure to work with. Jimmy Carlin, George Cruz, John O'Connell. He might be a little rough on the edges, but he does know.
The third guy. That's the third guy. Yeah, it's the third guy.
I mean, he does know black. I mean, it was us guys put it together, and then it just kept going, But after a year, I was ready to move on,
I told you my Johnny O'Connell story, right? Did I ever tell you that one? I think I did.
I don't know if you did.
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, did you do it on the show?
I don't know. I might have. So we're at one of the first, collapsed schools. We became a squad, right?
Oh, we were in the back. We were in the
everybody's
in the trailer.
He's the collapse guy. He's the collapse guy. So he starts off the class with, guys, no question is a stupid question. All right. So we got halfway through the class and somebody asks a question, which is pretty stupid. But John, he goes up to me and goes, Really? That's the question you're going to ask me? That's the question you're going to ask me?
Well, that's John.
The question's too stupid.
I remember when we started the squads, he was coming out. Him and I forget what the other guy. I always say the short guy from Rescue 3. I forget what his name was. Kev, what was his name?
Mike
Davis.
Oh, Mike Davis.
Yeah. The one that Smith was choked at one of the parties.
Both of those guys were teaching the class a lot of the collapse. But you guys were the collapse unit. Were you the collapse unit right after that, Jerry, or no? When did that start? Or was that before?
No, we started. We didn't have it when I left there in '90, but when I got back there, we had it in '95. So I'm not sure when they got it, but and we were the only collapse unit. So
right.
Yeah. And we had some really good guys. I mean, John being one of them. We had this guy Einsfeld was good. I mean, we had so many good firemen there. It was great, Yeah. Guys, a lot of guys were builders. John Conroy was a builder. Mickey could do anything. Tom Conroy. I mean, you probably know all of these guys, but they were very knowledgeable, and they were all builders. These guys built houses. They knew how to do shoring and cribbing, and it was what they did for a living. I say living.
Even Joe Light, right? That's what Joe Light did.
Light was phenomenal. But Joe Light came after 9/11. We recruited him big time there.
Yeah, but he was a big. He's
always he helped me build. He helped me build my house in Montauk when I built it. Yeah, he's great. So I mentioned that guy Stiles. He was a licensed electrician. Yeah. We had a lot of good guys. The one thing the rescue I thought started to turn into is when you got those guys. They would show up with the binders, and sir, I have paramedic 1, firefighter 2, 3, 4. I came in second place in Hurstville at Albany. Those guys, and there are guys like that. I mean, around the country they do stuff like that. You know what I mean? So,
no, no, we know.
You didn't, but the number one thing is you got to be a good fireman. That's the most important thing. The other stuff.
You want an iron worker. You want tough. Like
but I mean, there's also guys that are phenomenal firemen that can learn too. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I was always a half-ass carpenter. I used to buy houses and fix them up, but I wouldn't put myself in a finished guy at all.
Right.
But
tell us about the band a little bit. When did you get into the band?
I think I started going down at 79, so I was in Latwood 75,
shit.
And I finally got in. I think it was 1982.
So how does it work? Like you go down and what?
You got to learn an instrument. I played the drums as a kid, but bagpipe music's different. So I wanted to be a pipe player. We need drummers. We need snare drummers. So. I went that route, and I went down. Actually, me and Phil Burns, who was the captain at 332 at the time, and this guy Billy Mitchell from 277. So the three of us got together, and then we went for lessons. We'd go to.
You didn't even know how to play when you first went down.
I knew somewhat, but I didn't know how to play bagpipe drumming. It's totally different. So so it takes a while. I mean, for a guy to learn the bagpipes, it's you're talking probably 2 years, and it's the music is so much better now than it was then, because years ago you used to have to know 6 tunes. Now you have to know like 20 tunes.
Right.
And they want to play really good.
Right.
So But anyway, it was one of the best things I ever did because you know when you leave firehouses, those guys you never leave. You know, they get promoted, they're still in the band. They retire, they're still in the band. Right. So it's just a lot of fun, you know. And we had so many good times. I could tell you, it opened up a lot of doors.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I remember playing for Bob Hope's 70th birthday party. You know, we played for the Reagan. I played for Bush. I mean, it was just great. I mean, just how do you get to do stuff like that? You know what I mean?
A lot of presidents. We saw pictures, Pete, with a lot of presidents.
Well, this is how I got to meet President Reagan. When I was in 175.
Come on, I got it.
With me and Mike Maloney, who became a battalion chief, we're standing in front of quarters, and these two cops are chasing this guy down New Jersey Avenue. And cops are running, but they're running out of gas, you know. So we're standing there, and they go, "Help us, get him!" So we tell the company, the house watchman, I feel who it was, but anyway, tell the captain he didn't want to get involved in this. But anyway, so we chased this guy, and now we're getting further from the firehouse. They did turn out the company, thank God. But we cut through a couple of backyards. So we go into this backyard, and we see a doghouse. We don't know where the guy is. All of a sudden, we see the Converse sneakers just sticking out of the doghouse. That's all you can see is the sneakers. So I go, I'm going, right here. So we take the doghouse and we flip it upside down. We're holding this thing down. This guy, we don't even know what the guy's wanted for. We're screaming, "Hey, we're back in!" I remember this old cop from the 7-5 precinct comes back there. He goes, "All right, get him." You know, they take the doghouse apart. He whacks him over the head with his handy-talkie. Boom, you know. And there was
allegedly.
Brilliant thing, you know, and they were all like, "Whoa!" And then he turns around, he goes, "He just stabbed a woman on the corner. She's probably gonna die." And they all got you know.
That's when the riot training took over, right? When
anyway, President Reagan, the second time he was running on personal responsibility. So he had this crime fighter thing, and somehow this story was in the Daily News, the two firemen chasing the guy. So I get a call at home. This is Secret Service. You're gonna have lunch with President Reagan. Blah blah blah. You know.
No shit.
You know. So I hung up the first time. Then the next time, the captain calls me. He goes, "No, Nick, this is serious." You know? So one thing led to another, and then me and Mike Maloney, we were in the band, and I said, "Hey," I said, "they want us to play the bagpipes for him." So we broke the bagpipe. He was a riot, though. I mean, President Reagan, he sat down. We had lunch with him. It was just
shit. That's great, man.
Yeah, so that's how I got to meet him. You know,
he's not the only president, though, right? Because we have another kind of important to the fire department president.
Yeah,
Mr. George Bush.
Yep. It was funny. We went to play. He invited us to play St. Patrick's Day at the White House, and there was so many areas there. So, but before we went into the main room where everybody was, we were talking, and he introduces me to his best friend, and he said somehow Notre Dame came up, and Kevin O'Hagan says, "Oh, Jerry's son went to Notre Dame." So I said, "Yeah," and his best friend's kid went there. You know, and my son knew him. Small world, right?
Wow.
So President Bush, with that awkward way, he goes, "Jerry, are you Catholic?" So I go, "Yeah." He goes, "How'd you like to be my guest next week for the Pope?" You know, so
holy shit!
Yeah, I love that. You know, so he introduced me to his intern or whatever. His name was Schilling, and call him. So I asked him, "Can I bring my wife?" "Yeah, no problem. Bring my mother." You know, so we go there, and I said to my wife, my mother, "I don't know where we're going to be." I'm telling you, there was nobody between us and the Pope and Bush. And we're sitting there. It was like, oh, my God. And I was thinking, tomorrow I got to do it with my side job. And I'm going to be so these guys can go in. I got
to go to Home Depot, pick up this.
But I go, that's America, right? Tomorrow I'm going to be in the sewer plant. Here I am with the Pope and the president.
Yeah.
But it was unbelievable. It was really
this was at the White House?
You're back at the White House. Yeah, that was back at the White House.
That's quite an incredible feeling being at the White House. If no one is gone, they should go on a tour at least. But that is it's a special feeling with all the paintings and everything.
That's crazy.
How about this one more though? Hold on, we got to. You're a man that gets around. I thought I was around some.
We're nobody.
But hold on, look at this.
Tommy Lasorda.
Oh, what a guy he was! Yeah, he's. I don't know. I don't think he passed away, right?
No, I don't think he passed away. I was just going to ask.
What a great guy, though. What a great guy. We met him at 9/11 at a fundraiser. He was unbelievable. Good time, you know.
He wore it
Regular.
right on the sleeve too, right? He was whatever was on his mind was coming out his mouth, right?
Oh yeah. I remember him talking about 9/11. He goes, "We're going to get those son of a guns. We're going to kill them all." Yeah. I mean, he was just great, you know.
And then we got one more very famous senator here.
Oh yeah, that's my
former presidential candidate, right?
Yeah, Senator Dole. Yeah, we played. I think we played down by the South Street Seaport, and for him. And I forget what the occasion was, but he was very nice. He came over, he saw my kids, he spoke to my kids, and then eventually he ran for president. He lost, but you know he was a good guy.
No,
he was a war hero. You guys know that.
Yeah, for sure. He had the hand. The issue with his hand.
Right.
You know, we say playing in the band. You know, it sounds kind of like an easy thing, but you guys show up to a lot of stuff, right? The guys are constantly. You know, guys are retiring on the job, right? For 30, 40 years, a couple guys show up to the Firehouse. You know, you're always at the big, it's a lot of work, though.
Yeah, I mean, I pick my spots now. I'm if you have 20 years active, you're a life member. But I still love being around the guys. They're very dedicated. You name it. I mean, if you call them, they'll come. You know, and they're like unbelievable. This picture here was a guy died in the Air Force in Afghanistan, and they had nobody to play for him. So the Suffolk PD and FDNY got together, and we played together. And that's my son in the middle there. And then Jimmy Schumacher was a fireman.
Schumacher there, right?
Yeah. And that's his brother Skip Schumacher. He was the '95 engine. Great guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does look like him, actually.
Yep.
Where's your son? A cop?
Yeah, he's a lieutenant in Suffolk County.
He's not doing too shabby.
Yeah, no, he's good. He's a lot smarter than me. That's for sure.
So the band opened doors. So let's
all
say
the time.
all of a sudden you're a probie, and then I don't know, maybe you're a captain of rescue too. I'm just saying, I don't know how that happened.
I tell you what, Liam earned every bit of it, though. I tell you what, that guy.
That guy shows up. That guy shows up.
He does, and you know what? I worked with him at the World Trade Center. He was there
every day.
Yeah. I think he's still single because he's so dedicated to the fire department. I really do. I mean, the guy with the band, that's his life. He's,
No, that guy, I have to say, anytime I've been to and I show up to a lot of stuff, he's there every time, wherever it is. Oh, yeah. And that's why I was saying the commitment to play in the band, to show up to things, even if it's a few guys, right? I'm not talking about St. Patty's Day where everybody wants to be there, or at the White House. I'm talking about all the little things that the guys show up to, all, the FDNY, the PD hockey game, the basketball game, the football game. They show up to everything. It's incredible,
It does open up a lot of doors, but you got to have a wife that's very understanding.
Yeah, because you're going to be gone a lot of times.
And
even if it's for 2 hours or 1 hour, whatever you do,
for 2 hours. You go to a fire function. Come on, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Never liked you.
Next thing you know, you're eating light bulbs. I don't know.
I have a funny story. When Charlie Marshall, I like Chuckles. He's a strange cat, but I love Chuckles. So. We went away to Swiftwater training. He was trying, like you were saying before, you have to practice, you have to show up to the meetings, I guess, and you practice. So he's a drummer. He had this little platform, a little drum, just not like this, just a little thing. And he would be doing this all day, every day. Yeah. So we were roommates. So every once in a while, we'd be working all day. I'd crash out. And I'd hear this drum, and I would be like, Chuckles, if I hear that drum one more time, but he got in, right? I mean,
he shows up
a long time, and he shows up. He's another guy that's very committed. He's, I think he's still in 18, maybe. I think he
is. Yep.
Yeah. So, but he loves the fire department. He's always
all the guys in the band love the fire department.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt.
I mean, to learn the bagpipes and the cost of buying them, and it's a big commitment, And we don't turn anybody away. Anybody can come down and join. You know what I mean?
You got any Italians in there? You got any Italians?
We got Chris Corbin.
All right.
Here's a story
Wow.
about Chris. He wouldn't join the Emerald Society when he was 175. He joined the Colombians, right? All of a sudden, he sees me and Maloney having a good time in the band. Hey, I'm going to join the Emeralds now.
Was he also trying to drink some Jameson?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. God bless.
He was like, "Fuck those guineas, man! I'm coming over there."
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was right in on that one.
You got any Italians in that
I gotta
day?
get
Oh, yeah, we got Al Schwartz. We got Al Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Hey!
I love it.
One of our drummers.
Hold on a minute.
I love Milner. I love it.
He just said
Yeah,
Al Schwartz. He just said Al Schwartz is the only Jew in the band.
Hey, what's that picture there, Milner? What kind of picture is that? Is that
I
him?
don't know. I got to tell my Charlie Marshall story.
Chuckles?
There's a few of them out there.
I go to one of the schools. I don't know if it's bomb school or whatever it is, bro. So I keep telling him, did you check in? Did you get your boarding pass? Nah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He waits till we get to the gate to get his boarding pass. Right up till we get to the thing. And the guy who's
He's so strange, man.
the guy who's, how do I say this? He's a little effeminate. The guy who's boarding us, right? So he says, "Let me see your ID."
That's why I love fun.
Charlie takes out his ID, and it's got the pink background. So the guy goes, "Oh, pink, my favorite color." So Charlie goes, "Yeah, what a shock." We're gonna get booted off this plane. It's complete dead silence, bro. And all of a sudden, the guy starts bawling and laughing. Hysterical. Goes, you're funny. He goes, "You just went first class. You went here first class for the both of
You guys went first class, you
Only
idiots?
time I was first class. It was Charlie Marshall.
I used to call him Ichabod Crane. He looks like Ichabod, doesn't he? Look like he's got that skinny dude. All right, where the hell are we? I don't even know where the hell we are.
I don't know.
If you did that today, you would have been kicked off the plane. It would
Oh,
have
we
been,
got
in jail time.
We were talking
What?
about the band.
I have to ask you one question about the band.
Go ahead, and then I'll do mine. Go ahead.
The
actual position that Liam has, what is that, the band leader, or what do they call
He's
that?
the band chairman, and he's the drum major. He's drum major's the guy up in front,
Right.
but he's also the band chairman who runs the business part of it. I was the chairman too myself for 4 years back in the day. But it's a hard job. It's a lot of work. But as vice chairman, they do just as much work.
Right.
It is a lot of emails. Picture it, all these people wanting the band.
My God, forget it. Yeah, for another job.
It's a lot.
Yeah. The guy who did it before that was the big red face guy. He did it.
I was there when he had the heart attack on St. Patty's. Who was the guy? The big
Jimmy Corcoran.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember when he had the heart attack there at the whatever that was.
St. Patrick's Day, yeah.
St. Patty's Day.
And then we had Joe Murphy, who was the redheaded guy that you might be talking about.
The big red face.
Yeah, that was Joe Murphy, probably. Yep. He was a good guy. He was a great
passed away too, obviously.
What's that?
He passed away too, or no?
He did. Yes.
Ah, shit.
Yeah. And actually, Jimmy McInerney too, another great guy. He passed. He was the band chairman right before Liam.
If I was Liam, I would never.
He's got to watch it. That's why he stays in there.
Yeah.
Well, to get out.
I was actually going to bring up this. This was I like this picture here. This was Bronco. Bronco was he was in the band. Rescue 4, right? And this was his drum, correct?
Yes, I was very honored to carry his drum. The band was playing behind me, and we were marching up to St. Patrick's Cathedral. And Bronco was a happy-go-lucky, you guys know him, big strong guy.
Big dude, man.
He would have been a staff chief by now. He was just a great human being. And actually, Liam and Billy Murphy gave me that honor to carry the drum. Me and Bronco got along really good together, and it was a big loss to the band. Plus everybody's dealing with all the other guys dying too.
Right.
I had 8 guys from my firehouse. Captain Hickey was working in Rescue 3 that day. So
right.
I went to a job with Bronco one time. It was a high angle job. They were up in the Queens what is that in where the Unisphere is? You know where those?
Oh yeah. The old World's Fair there.
Yeah. The old World's Fair, and it was gonna be. We really didn't do nothing. There was a guy up throwing bottles down from the top of the thing, and the cops actually went down and got him. But when Bronco pulls up, and you know the red hard hats that we have, that we used to wear? It looked like a walnut on top of his head. He was such a big guy.
He was
a big guy. He had guns, man.
Yeah, no, he was a big dude.
He had a lot of gold.
He really did. Look like a little walnut on top of his head, though, man.
Did we talk about? Let's talk about 59. So before we get back to Rescue Trees.
Okay, 59. I went there in 91 to 95. Worked with a great bunch of guys. I mean, we had a lot of fun there. Here's a story here you guys would like. They call us up and they said, Commissioner's going to be coming around to the firehouse. He might come to your firehouse, but you know, you hear that. You're like, So anyway, we have this like racquetball tournament going on in the back of the firehouse, and we're having a good time, And I was I don't know where my regular shorts was, but I had like these shorts from the Celtics, 1950. Like the pants the girls ran out. Yes, oh my God. They were all laughing on the court, So I'm playing, and sure enough, Commissioner in quarters, and everybody's in the back in his shorts, So I go, all right, MURTHA, how am I going to get out of this one? So we do a roll call. I go, Chief, we drill all day, we work out all day, we're gladiators, and we're ready for fire duty. I go, this is what you want, And he goes, like this, saving it that much person. Yeah, you're right. I go, that's what we're doing. If I would have known you were coming, we would have been all dressed up. No, this is great. And everybody got a big kick out of it. They must have thought I thought about this forever. And I'm like, but I got away with it,
Did you have the package? You had the nice package there?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, God.
Oh, those shorts are classic.
I'll get back to another Tommy McTeague story, too. We had this Chief Brannigan in the 13th Battalion, and 93 Engine 45 in the rescue. So it was a clown house. 18 guys always working, a lot of fun. But Chief Brannigan was like the father or the grandfather figure there. And I think it was his 60th birthday, and they get him a cake. He's got tears in his eyes. They got the candles going. And he's, and all of a sudden McTeague comes running in with his sweatpants on, his dungaree jacket, with the partner store, right? Wow! And he's got the thing on the cake. And the chief is like this, and all the whipped cream's flying in his face. And it was like, I can't believe
Firehouse. Only in the fucking Firehouse.
But McTeague could get away with anything, you know what I mean? Because he was just that personality.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Got his cake with a partner store. Right?
You guys remember Jimmy Ginty? I'll give you a funny band story. I remember, Jimmy Ginty was a very squared away guy. He was like the guy everybody looked up to. You guys know his son?
Yes. Yeah.
Sons. So anyway, everybody looked up to Jim. He was the Band-Aid, the band, and everything went through him. But one day I don't know what, he was in a good mood. We're on an elevator in Manhattan, and these old ladies go, what do you wear under the kilt, So, Jimmy was up in age, So he goes, you really want a seat? Do you really want a seat? So he does a headstand in the elevator, and his junk is hanging. He's an old guy. He was like a eagle, and we're all in confined quarters, and these women are like, It was great, and it was so uncharacteristic of him to do something like that.
No shit, man.
Yeah, but we were
great. Oh my God, that is so freaking funny, man! Right, all those little stories, right? If you could put them in a book and remember everything, so many.
Yep.
Yeah, shit was hanging out of there. That's
another big story was we had this big event down in I don't know if it was Firehouse magazine down in Baltimore, and they did some ceremony up on a hill, and McTeague goes, this is boring, he's got his kilt on and everything. So right at the end of the ceremony, he goes rolling down the hill, and all you see is his trunk spinning around and around and around and around, and all the mayor's there, all these dignitaries there. And he goes, yeah! Can't make it up,
You can't really make some of that stuff.
There's another one. We're playing down in Nashville, Tennessee, and a fireman from Nashville, his daughter was dying of cancer. So they asked us to come down, some guys to come down and play. So we went down there, and McTeague was there. And Vince Gill, who's a famous country singer, is hosting this thing, right? So we're backstage, and somebody gave Vince Gill an FDNY shirt like Lou has on. So he's sitting there, and I'm talking to Vince Gill, and you know, having a conversation with him. He's telling me how he used to live on Long Island, blah, blah, blah. So McTeague walks over, he goes, "Who the hell is this guy, Vince Gill? I keep hearing his goddamn name." And he's talking to Vince Gill. Country entertainer.
Yeah. He's supposed to be like.
He looks at me like this. I go, "That's Vince Gill." He goes, "Oh, it says Joe on it." You know, somebody gave me a shirt, you know. He goes, "Oh, nice to meet you. I've been here so much."
Good recovery, man. Good recovery.
Tattoos, you know, he's got the tattoo.
Good recovery, man. Oh my God, that is so. My face hurts. Oh,
Nice, man.
But anyway, back to the 59 story too.
I was going to say, what did you bounce around, Jerry, or did you?
No, that was part of the deal with the Rock. I did that, and then Captain Jacqueline asked me to come over to 59, and I lucked out. And that was a great house. There was like 9 guys from the band there. There was like 10 guys from the hockey team there. It was just a tight knit. The guys went camping together. I mean, it was fun house, you know. I mean, if I didn't go back to Rescue 3, I would have retired out of 59 because the guys were tight. You know, like every other firehouse, the war, you know, it slowed down a little bit. So, but you know what? There was enough activity in that firehouse.
Yeah, keep you going. And you have good guys. It doesn't matter so much. You know, you want to go to fires, but if it's not every day, it's, you know.
I mean, I worked with John Fortunato there. He was a great fireman there. And Jimmy Ginty Jr. was there. Jimmy McGowan was there. They were all firemen there. And it was a great house. Super house, you know. So Mike Gillespie was one of the lieutenants there. He was a tough guy, tough fireman. I don't know if you guys ever ran across him. He became a safety chief. Really good guy. You know, it was every place I ever went, I never landed on a bad spot, you know. Even at the Rock, you made the best of it. And
it's not that bad.
And you know what? And when you're trying to put a collapse class together, you're learning just as you know as you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like you just keep going over things, and before you know it, it helps you, you know.
When I came back,
the call from 59, who called you back up to 3, or did you? It
was funny. Chief Downey called me, and I love Chief Downey. I mean, that guy to me was like the John Wayne of the fire department. Real serious guy, you know, squared away, Marine. And he called me up, and I tried to get back to SOC, you know, after the Rock thing, and he said, "Oh, you got to wait 2 years," and I didn't want to do 2 years at the Rock, so that wasn't going to work out. So I went to 59. I had a ball. So he calls me up. He goes, "Would you like to go to 3?" So I said, "Yeah." So I said, "But I don't have a paper in, you know." So he says, "Don't worry about the paper." He says, "You're going to come down on, you know, just your name. We'll slip you in, you know." And boom, you know, I did. So it worked out good, you know. I mean, I was honored that because Chief Downey was a Rescue 2 guy, you know.
Right.
All his people were there. So somehow, you know, he reached out to me. You know?
Who was there when you got there at that time? Who was there? Pete Lund was there? Who was there?
No, actually, I might have. Pete Lund left. He went to Rescue 2.
Oh, right. Okay.
Mike Cogan got hurt at a fire very bad. He fell down the stairs in a taxpayer fire, and he did a lot of damage to his shoulder. And so he was done. So there was like 3 openings there. You know.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. So
perfect time.
Yeah, it worked out good. So I got timing. Always. Yeah, timing. Kevin Williams came over, and John Olson and myself.
So Kevin was there that whole time then, huh? Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, he was there from 95 to.
Holy shit, that's a long time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a good guy. You know, Captain Tiso, he was a great fireman, no nonsense guy. Probably the best captain I ever worked with. I mean, after 9/11, he really ran the company well. Nothing but respect for that guy, you know. Really. Go ahead.
I actually went to go see him in '98 to try and start the process. You know, I'd seen him actually 2 times, but he told me at that time I only had 5 years. You know, but I knew it was going to take all of this time. You know, so I just wanted to start the process, and that's what I was doing. And then the squad thing came up, and I diverted into, you know, I wanted to get the SOC, and I knew Rescue 3 was going to be a long time, obviously. So
yeah. Well, the guys up in Rescue 3 now are great. You know, they got 3 great lieutenants, great captain. You know, Billy Murphy keeps them on their toes. They love him. Love him. Yeah, it's all good, man.
Probably one of the funniest guys directly. Oh, yeah. I mean, direct, right? I mean, there's no fluff. It's right. Brutal honesty. I love the brutal honesty with him.
Who are the lieutenants up there? They got Joe Lightback down from 5.
Right. Tommy
Clare, and Mickey.
Mickey
Camboy. Yeah, right.
Mickey's my man. You know, those guys are great. All three of them guys.
Oh my God, that's
Bill Light could build a house out of a box. You know, I mean, he's unbelievable. Tommy Classen, real cowboy. He breaks horses in. He builds barns. I mean, he's the real deal. These guys are really good. Yeah. You know, very talented guys.
Well, it's always been that more senior place. It's always been senior guys there. You know, all the time.
Yep.
When you were up in 3, both as a fireman and a lieutenant, 41 was still doing their thing, right? Before the squads went on, they were still going to 1075s over there.
Right. When I was a fireman, they weren't. They didn't exist. But 95 when I came back, they were there. They were doing it. You know, good bunch of guys. You know what I mean? All the squads are good. The whole fire department's good. You know, engine, truck. You know the deal. There's good firemen in every firehouse. You know.
Yeah, they had a nice spot there. They making it to
Harlem pretty fast.
Quick over to Harlem pretty fast. So they did some.
Oh yeah. No, they are. They work. They go to work. There's no doubt about it. You know, multiples anyway. You know, everywhere you go in the city, there's a lot of proud firehouses. You know what I mean? So I always felt the way to operate in Rescue 3 was the first thing I would do was like, Chief, where do you want us? You know, battalion, division, whoever it was. And then this way here, you had solid ground. If he said go to the floor above, you know.
If somebody broke your balls,
what are you doing up here?
Yeah,
Chief told us 90% of the time that was it. You know, very rarely they'd send you to the fire floor. But I mean, if things were bad, you were there. You know, you just had to know when you were going to go to work when they need you. You know, and they always do. It takes time. It doesn't happen every day. You know, but you got to be ready. So hey, another job I had for like 25 years. I worked for the Suffolk County Fire Academy, and I taught heavy rescue there. But I got to work with this guy, Chief Nemenchek, who was mentioned on the iPod a couple one of your shows. I worked with Phil Burns, John Vigiano, Tommy Richardson. So we would get in our car and we would drive to the firehouse and teach.
A lot of slackers there.
Oh yeah, but it was great for me. I mean, I like Nemenchek was like a legend.
Oh my God.
You know, Phil Burns knew a lot. Vigiano, I would sit in his class. We were doing a class on her stools. You know, sometimes I felt like I was a student, but I was an instructor. I mean, he was so good. You know, and I always said if I had a kid going on a job, that would be the guy.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Want him to be his lieutenant or captain because you knew you were going to learn. You know what I mean? There was no slackers with him.
Yeah,
he was out of there. You know.
So I got a story from Hoppy when you were lieutenant in 3. I want to hear your. It's probably going to be.
Hoppy's very active here.
Little bird, a little chirpy bird, little bird,
chirpy bird. About the time that I guess a firefighter went up to do a search or something, he put his hands on you or something of that effect.
Yeah, you know, I felt bad after that because what happened was.
It was
one of those rare jobs in the Bronx where the chief asked us to go to the fire department. Usually they don't do that, especially it wasn't really hats and horns, you know what I mean? So, all right, you know, I asked him where to go. He said, go up there and help them do a search. So we go up there and I get there and some fireman's there in the smoke, you know, he pushes me and he goes, nobody's going in there. Nobody's going in there. I says, this Rescue 3, the chief told us, you know, I was being nice. I didn't know who pushed me in the smoke, but he told us to come in and do the search. And he goes, yeah, going in there. He gives me another elbow, you know. So with that, I just kind of like moved a little bit. I put my leg out and I flipped into the ground. Boom, you know, he went down and we went in. You know? But I go back to quarters and the next thing you know, I'm getting a call from the chief. You assaulted one of the firemen, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, all right. I said, we're not going to do this over the phone. I go, all right, guys, we took the rig over there. I go, here's what happened. You know, and the kid was sitting right there. He was a pro. But the senior guys, the senior guys told him, he's like trying to do the right thing. But a senior guy would have known to say, hey, the chief told us to come in here. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. But so I said, let me get this story straight. You stop me anytime this story deviates from the truth. Right. And I went through it. And I go, you pushed me not once. You pushed me not twice. The third time you pushed me. And that's when I dumped you. You know, and you know, and that was the end of that, you know. And it was one of them stupid fire stories. But I got a funny one for you here. We had a job with the 19 truck. Great firehouse. Mike Miller knows that. But
never heard of him.
It was New Year's Eve. Anyway, we get this fire, and I think it was in the projects. And anyway, we get into the fire department before anybody else. They went the wrong way with the smoke, whatever. So now there's a little bit of a thing there, but there's a pushing match with Cliff Stabner and Jerry O'Shea. You know both of these culprits, right?
Yeah.
Now, just to let you know, me and Cliff used to go for bagpipe lessons to Mr. O'Shea. So we remember Jerry when he was a kid, you know.
Cliff's in this chat, by the way, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're in there, and you know how that is. They don't want you in the fire department. Most times we didn't want to be there either. But
right, exactly.
Anyway, they get the pushing match. They're both big guys, you know, big strong guys, and they're both great guys. So you know, then when the smoke cleared, I think it was awkward because they knew each other. You know, so.
I never liked you.
So, same thing. We go back to the firehouse. I get a call from the chief. I tell him what happened. So now Cliff's all upset. It's Jerry O'Shea's kid, you know. So he calls. I said, "Why don't you call him the next day? Call him at home." So he called him home. We come back to work the next day, and he said he left a message. So I get my friend Skip Schumeyer. I said, "Skip, you got to do this." I go, "We get everybody in the kitchen. Everybody knows about it." I go, "You got to call Cliff and tell him you're Jerry O'Shea and you're going to come to the firehouse and kick his butt." So Cliff gets on and he goes, "Oh, you know, sorry, let's let it go." "No, it ain't going to go. It ain't going to go. I'm coming in. I'm going to kick your ass." You know, so he's out in the house wash phone. So he comes in the kitchen. He's like by the door going, "Hey, Jerry." He didn't want the other guys to know. This thing backfired. It backfired. You know?
Backfired.
So everybody did on this thing. So anyway, we let it go. I go, "He's going to be here any day, any minute. Oh my God! You know what should you know me. I'm not afraid of anybody. I'll find him. But it's Jerry O'Shea's son. No, hit your butt. Going on and on. Then finally we let him know.
Oh my God. He said he wrote in there, "Oh dear God."
Here's another funny story. This is really good.
Oh my God.
I'm a lieutenant in 59, and Tom McEnroe's a fireman in 59. He's the pipe major of the band. So he keeps having this old timer come and audition. He keeps failing him. So he told me his wife was away. So I call his home life. I said, "This is Bill McPartner. You know, I really want to get in the band. You know, I'm making the story. I promised my wife before she passed that I would go up the avenue and honor her." And I gave her the whole thing, right? So meanwhile, Tommy's wife comes home. He hits the message. Tells him, "You are going to let that guy in the band." So I told a couple of guys in the firehouse story. So sure enough, boom, he's marching in the band.
Oh my God.
I let like a year go by. I say, "Tom, remember that phone call?" "No, that didn't happen." I go, "No, I can tell you every word that I left on you." I remember Bobby King was involved. It was pretty funny. "It was you."
Holy Christ. Dude, that is fucking too funny, man. That is fucking...
You know what? The firehouse was fun, right? We had a lot of good
my
time.
God. I'm telling you, I can't sometimes, and that's what's funny about these shows is every once in a while somebody will say something and it sparks a memory, and then I remember a story that I forgot all about. You know, like what's happening. You just keep going one after the other, you know. Oh my God. I wanted to talk a little bit about Danny Foley. We have a picture.
Great family.
You guys used to hunt together?
Hunted fish all the time.
You got the picture, Petey?
And with Tommy, I hunted and fished with Tommy. And his
Tommy too?
His father too, yeah. That's us out in Illinois there.
His old man was on the job too? I didn't know that.
No, his old man was not. He worked for the sanitation, but his father was a great guy, hardworking man. The whole family, just so sad, you know. But Danny was lived life to the fullest, man. That guy was intense. I mean, he was a great fireman. He was a great guy. I miss him, man. I tell you.
They said when his brother passed away in 9/11, somebody had wrote even after he found him, he stayed there. You know, day after day after day.
He was there all the time. Yeah. 2 stories about that. I was working the night when Danny found his brother. We saw there was some Rescue 3 helmets that was spotted on 10 and 10 with the telescope. So I was there, and myself and Danny, and I know his father was with us, and there was other guys. But we went up there. We got up to the rubble. We had a crane swing us in, and we searched, and he found his brother's leg, his bone. His brother had the 2 of them were on the FDNY football team, and his brother had a bad injury, and he had a pin in his leg. So it was all remains of Rescue 3 guys. But he found that thing, and his father was there with us, and we put it We put it in a spackle bucket. It was so sad. But anyway, we go down, we march it down to the log. There was a priest there. You know, you guys went through it. Yeah. So anyway, they were able to identify that pin from the X-ray.
No shit.
That was Tommy Foley. So what are the odds of that happening? Yeah. You know, I mean,
and then for him to find him, you know, yes, that didn't happen. Exactly. You know, to find a guy from your company was one thing, but you know, to find your brother, it's
right. And I always thought back. Like I remember Mr. Foley saying, "I hope this is Tommy." You know, and I said to myself, "Can you imagine that?" You know,
yeah, you just want
owning a spackle bucket, you know, and he's hoping it's his son to have some kind of closure and a burial. You know, but you know, we all went through those sad times. But that was, you know, Danny. Funny story with Danny. After Tommy passed, you know, Tommy was a cowboy. He was a real bull rider. And he would go to these shows, you know, and like you see on TV, he was the real deal. And he always went by when they announced him, you know, like he did one at the Meadowlands from the Bronx, New York, the cowboy. But he was the real deal. So anyway, the Cowboys wanted to do a fundraiser for him, so they were going to do a rodeo in his honor. So I put a thing. They wanted one of the guys from Rescue 3 to be in it, so I put it up there. Nobody signed up, so I signed up. So I really didn't want to do this, but I said, we got to do it. I said, what's the worst that could happen? As long as, you know, I break an arm, a leg, I just don't want to die.
Every good story starts with that line.
Yeah, right. So Danny went, right? So we go to this bull riding training camp out in Jersey, right? And they had like a little rodeo there. And I remember there was a clown there. So I'm way in over my head. But I'm like, all right, you know, how bad could this be? You know, I get on this thing. And everybody's telling me, I was 49 doing this thing. And then so I drew number 1. There was 8 cowboys. Call myself a cowboy, right? I laughed. So anyway, I drew number 1. If I was number 3 or 4, I probably would have said I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, because it was. I never used to watch it like I watch it now. Not that I'm a former.
Yeah.
But anyway, so anyway, I get on this bull, right? And
that's insane.
I'm telling you, it happened so quick. Like I said, you don't have time to brace yourself. All I can remember is when I hit the ground, I heard my ribs crack. and it landed on my ankle, and then I passed out, and then I wake up and I got this clown standing over me, and he goes, "Stay right here."
He's saving your life too, right? He's like, yeah. He can't breathe.
What are you, a clown? You amuse me? How you doing? Amuse you? What?
They throw me in the back of a pickup truck, and he goes, "Listen, if you can't breathe in 10 minutes, we're going to take you to the hospital." I'm laying there. Danny goes out. His arm gets caught under the fence, and you know, it just rips his arm. He got 17 stitches, right?
Holy shit!
Anyway, I could finally start breathing a little bit, and I knew my ribs were broke. My ankle was all swollen up. So meanwhile, my wife was like, "Don't do this. What's the matter with you? You're an idiot." So we're driving home. My wife goes, "So how was it?" "Oh, it was great. We did good." I did the full 8 seconds, and I'm like, I couldn't even talk. You know,
in 3 seconds.
But Danny actually went on to do the real rodeo.
Can't breathe.
How did those guys end up hooking up with you? They were always going out with you hunting, or you guys went to a different place? Or how did that happen? I know Chief Daly used to come too, right?
Yeah, Jimmy Daly would go. Kevin Keatley would go.
The beef.
The beef would out there. I had John Fortunato out there. Kevin Shea. Yeah, I bring all the guys. They actually did a TV show out there. Sarah Palin Outdoors. So
he's got a hot on now. That's all right.
Yep. Palin, have you seen it?
Did you show up?
No, it was a great show. It was good. We had a good time. But we go out there hunting. We had a lot of laughs. You know, the beef saw cook. It's good. It's all good.
He's a good cook. Does he get the ashes? He had a couple of pictures of the ashes going in there.
I'm going to tell you something about the beef, though. That guy's got more heart than most firemen. He loves the FDNY.
Yeah.
You know, his whole life. And you know, he would do anything for anybody. He's that kind of guy.
You know what? Him and Warren, you could tell both of them. They would have been on the job.
Herbie Eisen is another guy.
Yeah, right. They would have been on the job. It just didn't work out for him, you know.
Herbie Eisen, beef, all 3 of them guys. They'll do. You know, you need something. If they can do it, they're going to do it. That's the way they are. You know. And there was another guy, Trainer, who used to work in the Bronx. He was another guy. He's great. There's a bunch of them. I mean, I don't know if you have them as much anymore. You know, like guys that really love the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. I think. Yeah. You know, I don't want to talk bad about.
I'm
the
sure
dispatchers.
I'm sure there's some guys
Right.
that are very.
But that was the difference. Is those guys came from the city. They knew the city. They wanted to do the job, and that's what came out when they did the when they gave you the boxes. You know.
Yep.
They probably knew more about the job than 80% of the guys on the job. Those
Yeah,
guys.
there's no.
Oh yeah. Well,
the more we talk to them, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Beef did. I mean, he lived it. You know, Warren too. Brooklyn, man. You couldn't find.
Oh my God. He's
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? Very well respected. You know, in the FDNY. You know, they had great careers. We appreciated what they did for us. Honorable men. Man, I love being in their company. You know?
No doubt.
Yep.
I'll tell you, the FDNY though, you meet some of the nicest people. You know, you really do. I like when you guys had Don Haight on and Dennis Murphy. I'm saying the way they present themselves. You know,
Murph,
total professionals. You know, Don Haight. I mean, he got into shaman on it. I'm still on the waiting list to try to get into that school. You know what I mean? That guy. You know, I mean, he's a sharp guy, and he speaks well. You know, same with the Murph. You know, great. They were great officers. You know, you had Freddie Lafayette. I mean, these guys are all good. I mean, everybody I saw on your show, I like.
Jerry, we are living the dream, bro. We are two idiots. That I mean,
wait.
I'm
an idiot too. Easy.
That are we're just enjoying
We
the
get to
show.
hang out with guys like you.
I mean,
man.
really. I mean, for the most part, to have hate. I mean, when you go through the whole gauntlet, it's a lot of fun, you know.
And for a guy like me, like you know, I'm like a military buff and like a history buff and like maybe like into, you know, cop stuff and everything. I never thought about the fire department. And then now, you know, you hear these stories, you hear about the culture of the fire department, man. It definitely. I ask these guys how many times I told them I've wasted my life. I can't believe it. You know what I mean? I've wasted my whole life.
Well,
But no, it's fantastic.
When I call these guys up, I tell Jerry, I'm like, listen, this is how it's going to be. You know, I don't know if you've seen the show, you've been on the show, you know, if you watch the show.
I've watched it.
Yeah. It's like going to the fire department is a weird thing. It's not like going to a high school reunion. It's when you see somebody you haven't seen from the fire department in 10 years, it's as if no time has gone by, right? You could just immediately get into as if you've seen the guy yesterday. And it's, you know, that's not the same with high school. That's not the same with college. It's not the same with,
No, I know.
for some reason, it's a connection there that, you know, most people don't have.
I know. My wife says to me, "You're going to be out over almost 18 years. You're still acting like you're fine." I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
18 years. God bless you, man.
I know. But you know what? It was really great. You know, the job is great. You guys know you enjoyed it. You know, every company I ever worked in was good. You know.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I made a lot of friends, and that's all I hang out with is fine. You know what I mean? I don't know why. You know, it's just the way it is. You know.
Brutal honesty. That's
You
why.
gravitate
You don't want to
towards
hear
each
no
other.
bullshit. The older you get, you don't want to hear no more bullshit. There's no doubt about it.
Ruffy, now that you're home, retired a while, do you sit across from the table and then your wife says to you, like when you're saying something stupid, you know, this ain't the Firehouse. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I still get that.
Yeah. I mean,
Did you ever do a fire joke in front of like my wife is a nurse, so one time we went to this thing in this party, and I said an off-color joke, and she looked at me like, Firehouse. I mean, I could tell it was a bad joke by the looks I got from everybody there. And
I never liked you. That's my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
one.
But in the Firehouse, everybody would have laughed.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
A lot of times, Jerry, I say this, I would say this at least once a month, even now. I'm like, you know, if I was in the Firehouse right now, I would be getting a lot of laughs right now. I would be on top of, top of my game. Nobody's getting my shit right now.
Well,
You know?
my wife used to ask me for my opinion on if she was having a problem with somebody at work, you know, if she's having a difficult problem. I go up to that fucking guy and tell him. She's like, you can't do that. This ain't the Firehouse. You can't just go up to somebody and say, I'm like, why not?
Throw the F-bomb 6 times in between 3 words.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's how it works. If you throw the F-bomb in, even if there's like no English in the middle, it works. Believe me.
Oh, yeah. And if you call somebody out straight up, like, you can't do that. I'm like, why can't you do that? I don't understand. Well, this is the corporate world. We don't do that in the corporate world. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, we do that in the Firehouse. Somebody's an asshole, you call him an asshole. You know?
Jerry, my face hurts, man. It really does.
It's because you guys deal with life and death. There's no time for bullshit. And when you're dealing with life and death on a daily basis, plus, you know, let's keep it real. Not to go on a down note, but you guys see a lot of your brothers go down too, man. You know, so when you got that going on, there's no time for bullshitting with people. It's just
Jerry,
straight up.
Milner said, "Jerry, you made my week. Thanks." It's been
Nice.
funny, man. I'm telling you, get some great stories, man. I'm freaking, my face is killing me, man.
Oh God. Yeah, well, they're all true. I got.
Sorry.
You know, it's funny what you said, Lou. It's coming back. A lot of these stories come back, but I'm telling you, we have some real good belly laughs in the Firehouse. I mean, unbelievable.
I've never laughed so hard as when I've been in the Firehouse. Like, I mean, crying on the floor. Absolutely, there's no comparison to anything I've ever done in my life. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's good. Now you know with the political correct thing, I think I would have gotten. I'd probably wind up in trouble.
Probably.
No, there's no doubt. It's not the same.
You have to change your act
because you can't be brutally honest. That's the best part.
Right.
I mean, even on the show, we try and be honest and break balls, but we hold back obviously on some things. But the brutally honest part. I mean, how many times did something happen to a guy really bad, and the next day somebody would make a joke, and 2 words after his mouth, after he says it, he's like, "Too soon? Is that too soon?" You know, like you're already pummeling the guy. Whatever happened to him in his life? He got divorced.
I just did that yesterday, Roof, when my brother's neighbor's house burnt down, and I threw a joke out there on the we have this family chat, and nobody is like crickets. I wrote back, "Too soon? Is that too soon?"
I mean, but that's the best part. Is like you don't. There's no. It's right at it. It's better off that way anyway.
I like it like that.
Of course.
And I always find firemen are real people. You know, even if you don't know a fireman, you hook up with him. You have so much in common. You know,
right? You know what? That's the truth, man. If he has the same type of personality because he's been through those things for a long time, and that's why I think we click with a lot of the guys. Even I mean, Jerry, we know you, but we don't really know you. But
right.
I
remember you guys though.
Yeah, you were the old guy.
I've been to your house a few times over there.
You were the old guy.
One guy, I'll tell you that always impressed me. I didn't work with him every day, but when it came to Hazmat, was Phil McGardle. I mean, when I worked overtime there, I always felt like I was a fish out of water. Yeah. But I'll tell you, anything we had, I remember after 9/11, we went down to Wall Street, and they got smoke and they got chemicals and So this bigwig from Wall Street, we can't shut this down. It was a Sunday. We got to be open Monday. And I said, all right, here's the guy. I felt, what am I going to try to BS my way through this thing? Phil was like being paid to go to Russia to teach Hazmat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this guy was great,
I'll tell you one thing, Jerry, the Hazmat, even now, today, in the city, it's night and day from then. That's how the guys are. It's really come up to speed, and the guys are squared away. It was a pleasure working with those guys. I never felt uncomfortable going to anything, to be honest.
No, they're squared away. There's no doubt about it.
I got a quick Philly Mac story, bro. So Philly Mac is laying in the lazy boy in the TV room.
He's a big dude, by the way. He's a big dude.
Philly Mac, and he wears that jumpsuit 24/7.
Oh, he wears the jumpsuit.
Like somebody spray painted it on him. So he's laying in the he's laying in the lazy boy, and the guy and Blaze is laying in the couch. So I go, Blaze is sleeping. I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna fart right in his face. Right? So I go over to Blaze, but he's not really sleeping. He's pretending to sleep. So as I walk over, he kicks me, and I go flying into Phil, and I fart right in Phil's face, bro. You know what the best part was? He got so pissed off, but
I don't think he would like that. No,
he couldn't get out of the lazy boy.
He's a big dude. He's a big dude. He's like a weeble wobble.
Yeah, man.
You talk about the ups and downs, but he went through so much.
With
all the guys in your house. How many did you lose? 18. A lot of them. 19 guys, and then he loses his son. Right after. I think he was the delegate, right?
Yeah, he was. I was a delegate.
So he was a delegate. 19 guys in the house died, and then his son dies in a car accident. I just, he's such a good guy. He's very intelligent, very sharp, intense, but I respect that.
Yep.
I really.
He was also the what do you call it? The union. He was the
he was an officer in the union.
An officer in whatever that health and safety officer, whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, he might have even had one of the recording secretary type thing.
Something like that.
He was offline with the union. So
Philly Mac, Daddy, gotta love him.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I want to ask you, Jerry. We're talking about firemen, their mentality. Your dad was a fireman too, right? So, did he bring that kind of stuff home like, were you used to that kind of humor growing up?
Yeah, my
Or-
father was pretty open with that stuff too. You know, I mean,
Did your mother yell at him?
I remember he wanted my daughter's a school teacher, and my daughter said, "Oh, maybe Grandpa could come in and talk about World War II." You know, and his whole life, you know, he was, like I said, he was in the South Pacific for 27 months, and he was involved in all kinds of stuff, but he didn't like the Japanese. Just, you know, the war did it. You know,
Hey, listen, there's no doubt.
people realize that now, but it was the war. It was the war that did it, and he would always say, "Jap, you know, this, that, you know, don't buy a Jap car," that kind of thing, you know. So I said to Katie, I don't know about big and green in that school. And she goes, "Oh yeah,
politically correct nowadays, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's you know, that's life.
You get a couple thousand bombs and some bullets going over your head, you start to hate a little bit. You know what I mean? It's a little tough to shake that just because people think you should.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what it was with my dad. He could never. But he was a go-getter too. You know, he was president of Republican Club out on Long Island. He was VFW commander. You know, American League. You know, he was involved in everything. You know, he just kept moving along. You know, I got that from him. And he worked. You know, like all firemen, he worked 2 jobs. My mother worked. So, that's
Jerry,
speaking,
is anybody on the job now from your family? But I know Don just got out, right?
Don just retired. No, I don't have anybody now.
Nobody.
No. We had the Gallagher boys from Rockaway. They were all out. Nobody left.
Speaking of getting things, look at this.
Oh yeah.
Jerry, I love watching Jerry's Facebook page because every day he's got another buck or a fish on there. I just I love it.
What is that, Jerry?
That's right.
Striped bass.
Striped
Holy
bass.
shit, that's huge.
Oh, he gets him. He gets him, man. He gets him.
Well, it's Montauk. If you can't catch a fish in Montauk, you
Yeah,
gotta retire,
can't catch, right?
That's
Exactly.
what I
Real
say.
talk. Yes.
I used to go to that stack tournament all the time, but after a while, I kept getting sick. I had to stop. It was bad.
It happens. You know what? Well, you know, the 2 stack boys are still on the job, and good guys.
Do they still have that tournament?
You know what? I think they have an offshoot of it. I don't think it's like it was, you know, because I used to go to it also.
Yeah, that was a great time, man.
Oh, yeah. The firemen, of course, wore their welcome out there. Pretty much.
No, come on. You kid that. Come on now. Come on.
Let me guess, they were pissing in public or something.
Yeah, what's that? Come on.
Come on.
As long as you don't do a 2-shot, you're all right.
I remember the Ronaldson. We used to go out there all the time. The Ronaldson outing for the Montauk Downs. We used to play golf out there all the time.
You mentioned Al Ronaldson. He was the guy.
Oh, that's right. Rescue 3, right?
Yeah, Rescue 3. What a guy, man. All around family man, workaholic, athlete, just a fun guy. You know, I was thinking about this before the show, though. You know, there's certain guys when you go to the Firehouse. Kevin, you look like one of these guys, and so do you, Lou. But you know, you're glad they're working. You know, you're gonna have fun. You know what I mean. And you got some of the guys like they come to work. You know, sometimes that's one thing bad about a single house, though. If you get
you get the same
groups,
right.
But Al would lift up a Firehouse. You know,
really.
Yeah. And I was gonna say something about Pete Lund. When he was in 3, he was a young lieutenant there, and he always created enthusiasm, you know, like no matter what it was, you know. So like when you were working, you were always pumped, you know. He like a vacant building, you know, some of the old timers, another vacant, you know. We were like, and get us all pumped up, you know. And I really liked that with him, you know. And then when he went to 2, you know, we had a couple of guys. Paul McFadden went from 3 to 2. He was another great fire officer we had, you know.
Al's son is in 3 now, right?
Yes. Yep.
How was he? I don't know if I know him.
He's a great kid.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great story.
Yeah, and they all love him there. You know, I get my scouting reports.
Yeah, that's you got to keep on. You got to keep your finger on the pulse. You know.
Everyone's asking about a Pete Lund story. Do you have one?
Well, I could just tell you about Pete Lund. He was a fearless firefighter.
That's Pete on the left. Just not to interrupt you, Jerry.
Yeah, and Norman in the middle.
Norman in the middle, and you with the crooked helmet on the right.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, Pete Lund was very well liked by everybody. He was one of them guys. I tell you, he got your enthusiasm going into the job even more, you know. And when he left, it was a big void there, you know, because he was like a main player.
Right.
I can only say good things about Pete Lund. He was a go-getter at that fire. He was a fireman 120 in the tough times, and then he was a fireman in Rescue 4. And then I think I don't know if he was a fireman in 2 or not. He might. He might have got promoted to 2 or 4.
That's tough to transfer as a lieutenant from 3 to 2, right? I mean, it's a little tough. I mean, I know. I mean,
but I could see it. You know, these guys were Brooklyn firemen, and
right. He
was in Rescue 3 for 10 years. So you know what? Sometimes you get a little stale.
You need a change. Absolutely.
You know, I understand it more now than you know.
Right. But back then, you know, like if you change from one truck to another truck in the same battalion or close by or something, it's a little shaky. You know what I mean? Like guys could take it personal. You know.
Oh yeah. Yep.
You know, to go to from 3 to 2, especially, you know, exactly what you said. There's no doubt that you can get a little stuck, a little stale, and you need to change. And you know, even if it's the best place on earth, you still need to change it up sometimes.
Yeah, that was the thing with Paul too. He was a fireman a long time in 120. You know, during the busy years, and you know, he wanted to end his career in Brooklyn. I don't blame these guys. You know,
Chief Kleehouse said he was a firefighter in rescue too.
I thought so. Yeah. And he was in 4 a short time, and then he went to 2. Yep.
The Vulcan.
Yeah, Kleehouse. There's a guy, right? Tough. I would put Lund there with him too, though.
Never seen any fire. Never seen any fire.
We're trying to get
him on. I don't know what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to
We're gonna have to show up at his what's his Maggie Mays or no? What does he do?
Maggie Mays in Bayside.
Show up there with the camera. Get him on the show.
I don't even think the 3 of us could get him in the car. Probably.
We might have to. You know what? We have to ban him from the chat if he doesn't come on the show. You know what I mean? That might be the way. You know,
I could show up in Long Beach. He'll kill you.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'll
Chief Kleehouse, I'm just kidding.
I'll tell you what.
I'm just kidding.
Oh. Yeah, I'll tell you, there's a guy that's very well respected. Everybody. He never smiled in his Medal Day books, though. You know, I remember he's so serious.
He's got a little. He's
a tough guy. Tough guy. Real tough guy.
A little something.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you what. Those old time rescue guys. You know, they were there. You know, guys that were there in the 60s and 70s. I mean, that was the busiest years in the fire department, no doubt. You know, and 80s was busy too, but. Those years, you were going from fire to fire. There was no doubt about it. Now, in 175, my lieutenant there, Dick Shulkin, he was a fireman in 103 truck for like 15 years, and then
never heard of him.
Yeah, you didn't. His son was in 176, but he was a great fireman. My other officer was George Lee. He was a fireman in Rescue 2. He was involved with a rescue. They used a standpipe cotton, out the window. He lowered a guy from Rescue 2. He lowered them, and they did a roof rope rescue with a standpipe line.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but he was another guy. I worked with him all the time. You know, he was in Group 10. I was in 11, and you know, that's another reason why I was like, you know, rescue. Wow, that sounds good. You know, but I was just lucky to have all these good officers. You know, through the years.
That's funny, Jerry, because when I was a kid in 117, and I would show up to boxes, and I would see Rescue 4 show up, and I would see Hatton when he was there, and I would see all these guys. They were always, you know, look squared away, and it was just that perception of I wanted to be those guys. You know, I wanted to be more into the job. I wanted to be more going to fires. I wanted to be into the job, and that's how it, you know, progressed for me.
Yeah.
By watching, and I've said that on the show a couple of times, that watching Hatton, he looked young, right? He was a young looking guy.
He was young when he went to Rescue 2.
Right, he was young there, right?
4 years on.
Right. So when he became a lieutenant and he was in Rescue 4, when I first saw him, he was a young-looking guy. All the other guys had the mustaches; they looked old.
Right.
He was clean-shaven. You know, he looked like a young guy and a squared-away-looking guy. And
he was a squared-away guy. There's no doubt about it. You know,
that's what started me on that path. Just seeing him, you know, like you said, just seeing guys operate at a fire and saying, "Holy shit, man! I want to."
Well, I used to see Donnie and Vidriano and those guys. They were the real deal, you know. This guy Conley, and they were real tough firemen, and they were in 2. You know, I didn't really know much about 3, other than I heard it was a good house to get. You know, when I went up there, and it was kind of good, you know, because I felt like everybody was checking me out. They didn't know who I was, you know. It was McTeague's party. Oh boy, that could be good or bad, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it was great. I mean, I just got and the bosses there at the time were, you know, it was Pete Lund, and I had Marty McTeague was up there for a while, a 2 guy. You know, there was a lot of good guys up there. Captain Ryan was a good guy. But yeah, I was very fortunate to have a great career working with good officers and tons of good firemen. you know, Harlem firemen were unbelievable. I mean, those guys are squared away too. You know, I mean, they were good with the roof ropes because they did a lot.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I would say when I first got on 93, every year there was a couple, right? 2, 3, 4 roof rope rescues, all in Harlem, all the time. I remember listening to the radio, Manhattan, 1,200 boxes, 1,400 boxes, 1,600 boxes, 1,800 boxes, all the time. You know, it was
23 truckers did a real good one.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, it was, but there was like, that happened, a few months ago. There was a few of them, like 2 or 3 in a row. But before that, you hadn't had that too often. You know, it was kind of like losing a lost art.
Yeah.
But it used 43 truck used to do that every year. You know, they had a medal day every year for somebody who was doing a roof rope rescue, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, all good stuff. You know?
You know what? How you say you were lucky to work with those guys? I'm sure there's plenty of guys who say the same thing about you, Lou. You know?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Listen, Jerry, when I made my list, I think you were like number 10 when I started making a list when we first started doing this, like guys that I knew that I wanted to get on the show. You know, there's no doubt. I knew you were going to be, you know, you just got the whole package. There's no doubt.
Well, you guys wanted to be firemen as kids, right? Pretty much.
Kevin, you know what? My dad, my two brothers, and my uncle was. So
it's great. It's great. You know, I was glad I was glad to do the cop thing because my grandfather was a cop, and my brother and brother-in-law, and my father-in-law, and my wife's grandfather. So I got to experience that because when you're with the cops, you want to hit. You know, you're part of the cop stories. There, it's like a cop being around firemen. You guys are talking about fires all the time, right? So I can relate a little bit to that. Yeah. You know, but I was glad. I was glad. You know.
Yep.
And for the most part, we always work very well together. PD and FD. We have. You know,
there's a couple things here and there, but I agree. For the Manhattan is really the issue. You know, those guys are really fighting for the spotlight. But in Brooklyn,
you know, there's not a fire truck in the city of New York that wouldn't get off the fire truck and help a cop getting beat up.
Oh no.
You know, so they know that. You know what I mean? They know that. You know, and right now they need that. You know, they need that support because they're getting beat up.
Do you see that work they did at the church up there?
Phenomenal.
Incredible.
And I didn't see the media cover it enough.
No, it was not even. It was nowhere.
Nowhere.
That was incredible.
That first cop that went up there was like unbelievable.
Incredible.
And he grabs the civilians out of the way, snatches them right up, gets under the thinnest cover I've ever seen, and puts one right between the guy's eyes. Man,
you know, that was a lot of skill and a little luck. You know, shoot a pistol that far.
Oh yeah.
You know, and hit him in the head. It's like
I know what I would have been doing. I would have been going like this. I would have just kept shooting, clipping, shooting.
That guy, yeah. I mean, that was one of the best I've ever seen. I mean,
have that on video, right? That is real deal, man. That is not bullshit. That is real
deal. Those two cops were being covered from an elevated position, so they couldn't get low enough behind those, crappy little garbage cans and whatnot.
Absolutely,
incredible work, man. Incredible.
So
work.
proud of those guys.
Oh yeah, me too. You know, you talk about defund the police. There was no defund there.
Yeah.
You know, those civilians were so lucky they came. You know.
Yep.
So,
Sealy said, just like hunting.
Ray Sealy, another good man.
Son of a bitch, a dirty bastard.
I was going to say, you know what? I do think it is that time, and we all know what that time it is. It is time for the old school tip of the day.
Take the floor,
sir.
What do I got? Well, I'll tell you, one of the best things I learned was when I was a young firefighter, you always wanted to be the first guy in, the first, get there before anybody else, whatever. I remember in 175 running to the building, not really paying attention to the structures, the floors, where's the fire, what exposure side. Same thing with as an officer too. You got to really, really size up, and you got to run in with a plan. You can't. I remember one time in Rescue 3, I had somebody yelling in the back. They were trapped, and I left. You know how you're supposed to take your lead on a search, left, right. I left my lead. I went for the voice. Basically, what happened to me was I was very lucky. I made it to two people in the rear. we had a roof rope rescue come over. I put the one guy on the roof rope, and we got the woman out the interior. But I'll tell you the truth, I was staying by the window there because I wasn't sure how to get this person out of there. And I remember Marty McTeague came and found us, and he did it the proper search where we took the lead and we were able to get out with the smoke. I always felt one time Connie Tinney told me, he goes, dude, you got to slow down. You're gonna get hurt. You're rushing in too much. And we had a job up in Harlem, and it was an explosion. I didn't realize the floor was gone. So it was right after he told me that I slowed down and I felt on the floor. So just before you get in full gear, size up, and always be thinking, how am I going to get out of here if things go bad? That's the best tip I can give you.
Getting out is that's the number one thing, right? Especially floor above or fire floor, of course, but floor above, you got to make sure you have a plan. And if you don't have a way out before, when it's too late, it's too late. If you didn't have a plan set up, that's it. There's no doubt about it. So
yeah, man.
That only comes with experience too, right? I mean,
you get better. You hope you get better as you go on in the job.
Sometimes when you get old, you get too slow.
Yeah, well, that's when you know it's time to go.
That's it. Wrap it up.
I got my glasses here, but I remember seeing officers doing this to read the paper, and I said,
looking at the Hangstrom.
When it comes to that, I'm getting out.
But I got to put my glasses on, looking for that at the Hangstrom while we're bouncing in the rig.
Oh God!
Wrap it up. That's it. That's funny shit. Good stuff, Jerry. Really,
I enjoyed talking with you guys.
I appreciate it, man. Great stuff. Great man. Great boss. And just by the guys' comments in the chat, man, they did appreciate working with you. A lot of guys, Cliff, a lot of guys in there.
Good. Yeah, I enjoyed working with them.
Excellent. What do you got? Oh, I got a shout out, Ruffy, from the guy from
quick.
Yeah, let me find mine. You do yours.
All right, so this was sent to me from Joe Sperber. He sends us a lot of pictures. I do talk to him occasionally. He sent me that there was they call him Mike Biggs James. He's a dispatcher number 63 at Nassau County Fire Communications, Firecom. He was only 46 years old. That's him on the right. Larger than life personality and was an outstanding dispatcher. Some of the offices he worked at he was known as Dispatcher 19, included Hempstead Fire Alarm, The Hub, Plainview 950, Hicksville 930, Bethpage 900, Syosset, Baldwin. He was also at one time at FDNY Dispatcher number 195 prior to working at the Firecom. So he just passed away, unfortunately, 46 years old. So we just want to give him a shout out, give him a little toast.
God bless.
God bless
his family.
God bless, man.
You got another one, or
that's it?
I got one. I got one from Rob Edmond, who's also always in the chat. Sent something on and asked. Actually, never mind. Excuse me. I just read it through a little more carefully, and it was the same gentleman. Yeah, Biggs.
Okay.
Biggs. Sorry about that.
They used to call him Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, man.
I got the guy from Maine, where we're supposed to do the road show, which is put on hold now. It says tonight they lost their most senior man on our job, passed away unexpectedly last Friday, is now being laid to rest tomorrow. Timmy Flynn was the most senior man on the job with 34 years and highly respected. It will be the first time in 70 years there will not be a Flynn on the Portland, Maine Fire Department. So prayers to him and another brother fallen. I want to give a shout out to Chief Steve. Not only is he dealing with the problem with the ankle, but now he also has COVID. So he's
does he really? Holy shit!
He's doing all right. He says it feels like a bad cold, so he doesn't got the worst case, so which is good. But speedy recovery for Chief Steve.
Wow, and the house next door to him burnt down, right?
Yeah, not his house, thank God.
But he didn't run into his in-laws. Is that what happened?
No, he didn't go running to his in-laws. Pete might have done that.
I was just gonna play the Chief Steve theme song, but I was gonna say too soon. But
too soon. Oh, good for you, Pete. Now you're learning. Now, good for you. Good for you.
Good for you, Pete.
Don't take no shit off of nobody, Spider.
Take no shit off of nobody.
No, seriously, Chief Steve. We really love you, man. And number one, get your ankle right, and number two, get past this whole HIV. We love you,
High
man.
So
right, kid.
Monday we got the very first game show. It'll be
Ooh,
very
that should be
funny.
interesting.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
got some.
God.
I got some of the questions. I'll tell you right now.
But you
I
got
didn't get them
questions?
right. No, but I'm saying.
I gave Rookie some questions.
You gave me like 3 questions. I didn't get any of them. So you guys are screwed. I'm telling you.
Oh,
right
we
now.
got costumes, we got buzzers, we got, and tomorrow I'm working on a panel of sound effects. So
Jerry, you got to watch. It's gonna be very funny, actually.
Very funny.
All right.
Very funny.
And then we won't be here Thursday because it's Christmas Eve. So I'll be drinking some Jamesons without water.
Hey,
Mom would love you.
Mama Murtha.
I'm a Martha.
God bless.
I think that. Oh, by the way, I told you in the beginning the Leatherhead Nation shirts are in. So bust Louis balls to get them on the website.
I'm waiting to get the picture from Fossil. That's what I'm waiting for, to put it on the site. Otherwise, I have no. What do you want me to put it on with?
Maybe
Look at the face. You see the face? Look at the face. There's the face. You see that face right there? Look at the face. He's like this.
Face the confused.
I was gonna say maybe dress your old lady up in it. You know, something like that. You know what I'm
Mamma
saying,
mia,
Rosie in a
you
t-shirt,
dirty
you know what I mean?
son of a bitch.
How many we'd
Talking
sell
about my
if
old lady.
Rosie was just wearing that t-shirt? How many of those we'd sell?
We already sold out of the freaking lighters already, so
Yeah. All
we're
right.
gonna hold them.
All right, Pete.
Take us out, kid.
You crazy kids, if you're listening to this show on audio right now, you got to also be heading on. Well, first of all, you can find the show on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere, iHeart, anywhere fine audio podcasts are found. But if you do make your way over to YouTube, head on over to youtube.com/Gettin Salty Experience. And please, guys, please, I'm sure there's some of them bitches in the chat right now who haven't taken their filthy, dirty finger and hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Guys,
Let me
drop a little knowledge on you real quick. When you hit that like, subscribe, and share button, it tells the YouTube algorithm, hey, pump these guys out there.
These guys are important.
And
We're really not.
Yeah, but no. What it does is it gets
poor little Asian face. He needs some money. Little Asian face.
He's so hungry. He's just so hungry.
Look how skinny he is. Will you like and share it already?
I can that put the nail in that coffin. And if you guys also follow us on Instagram at Salty Dog Inc., that also helps us out because we get all of our last minute info out to you. Like when we tell you when we have a guy like Lieutenant MURTHA coming on, so on and so forth. And last but not least, guys, head on over to gettingsaltyapparel.com where, again, you can find great T-shirts like this one or hats like Louis wearing, other firefighter apparel and accessories. We're almost through Christmas. It's been a crazy season, but we thank you guys all for the orders, and we appreciate you supporting the show. But I also want to mention one more thing, guys. If you're on Facebook, this has nothing to do with us. We didn't start this, but there's the Getting Salty fans on Facebook. And guys, the meme sharing that goes on, a lot of info going on back and forth. It's a really, really great community. We really do.
They're
love
always
you
on
guys.
me most of the time, I think.
Well, it depends on the week. I got it last week.
Yeah, you got it last week. You did get it good last week.
You got it with the car key and whatnot. You know what I mean? And we all take turns getting beat up. Heading on over to Getting Salty fans on Facebook, guys. We really appreciate you guys putting that together. It's a great group. That's it.
If you guys want a shirt like this, this is one of Petey's. Hit him up on his email and grab one of Petey's shirts. Good shirt.
You know what? Thank you. I'm going to throw my own banner up if you guys don't mind.
Knock it out. Good.
Right, you head on over to xgearsupply.com. Thank you guys for the free plug. I appreciate that.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Murphy, thank you so much.
Incredible.
Face hurts.
It was an honor to be on with you guys.
Face hurt. It's killing me.
Thank you,
killing
Peter,
me.
Luke, Kevin.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're the man. We really appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you.
I mean, that's huge. We really appreciate it.
Hang on a little bit. We're going to sign out, and then we'll get you in the back room there.
We got to get on. Who was in the before we do that? I can't see. I lost it. All right, we'll talk about it next time. Chief Daly was in there. We got to get him on. I'm going to run into him in the sandwich shop again and hit him up. So got to come on. We got to get the guy in the roofie. We got to get him on the show. It'll be great.
He'll go on.
Yep.
We'll get
all
him.
right, fellas. Petey, stay long go, fellas.
Jerry, thank you very much.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
We'll see you. Big one, everybody.
Cheers, brothers.